90.7 FM. We're sporting a three-man booth tonight. Lou Orlando joined by my partners Nick Guzman and Chaz McAdams for the Rams. It's their second 6-game losing streak of the season. They are deadlocked into either being the 14th seed or the 15th seed. So at this point in the game, seeding doesn't really matter. The focus of head coach Keith Urgo is seeing this team take the leap and be confident in a probable run going into the tournament.
Listen, Lou, at this point in the season with just 2 conference games remaining, standings are kind of out the window, like you mentioned. You're stuck in the basement. It's just about trying to pick up a win either in this game or against URI next time out on the road on Saturday, maybe both, and trying to get just some kind of momentum going before you enter into the Atlantic 10 tournament next week down in Washington, D.C. This Fordham team last time out called the St. Joe's 90-76. They just couldn't defend, and that's been the theme throughout this entire season is the lack of defense. They're last in the A-10 in nearly all defensive categories, and it's hard to win when you struggle as much on the defensive end as this Fordham team does.
I mean, listen, everyone makes the tournament, so all you have to do is learn how to win, and I know the record speaks for itself. Only 3 to their name in conference, with the Fordham Rams in these next 2 games have to learn how to win games. That's all you need to do. Everyone makes the tournament. You just got to get hot at the right time, play your best basketball in mid-March. That's the message that Coach Keith Urgo has been preaching since the leaves were red and orange. And now that they're coming back to a nice bright green, we'll see what we got going on here in the historic Rose Hill Gym, 100 years.
Well, and perhaps in an effort to spark some newfound effort into the struggling Fordham basketball team, a very interesting change to their starting lineup. For the first time this season, the A-10's number 2 scorer, Jackie Johnson, will not be in the starting lineup. He's replaced by the freshman Ryan Pettis, making his first ever career start. He's joined in the backcourt by Jaffe Medor and the senior Zach Riley, the front court Ramad Dean and Abdu Tambila. Keith Urgo going to the freshmen to inspect some energy and some life into this team.
These are the first real, drastic lineup changes we've seen from Keith Urgo this season. I mean, starting Ryan Pettis, I think it's fair to say that is a drastic change. I mean, considering he's played under 8 minutes a game this season, he's appeared in 19 contests, he's at about a point a game, but he's looked good in some of his cameos, but starting a freshman in a game like this, at this point, I think when you're 3-13, you're looking for a spark anywhere, and I guess Keith Urgo thinks Ryan Pettis, Zach Riley, some new faces in the starting lineup are going to be able to do that.
Well, clearly Keith Urgo is sending a message. Defense is valued for the Fordham Rams. You're losing Josh Rivera and Zach Riley, 2 guys that are capital S scorers for the Fordham Rams. This time we're going with Ryan Pettis, a guy that likes to get down and dirty in the mud, the California kid that likes to guard. And you have the guy from Auckland, Zach Riley, the man from parts unknown that plays defense every game like his life depends on it. Keith Urgo is sending a message to the rest of his team. If you don't play defense, come hell or high water, when we go down to the nation's capital, you won't be seeing any tick at the Capitol Center.
Well, defense is the harping point for Keith Urgo. And this Fordham squad going up against a GW Revolutionaries team that's known for their defense. They lead the A-10 in steals, 2nd in turnovers forced, 3rd in 3-point defense. Their starting 5. It's the redshirt freshman Christian Jones at point guard. At the 2, Trey Autry, the 6'4" sophomore. At the 3, it's the transfer from Delaware, Gerald Drumgoole Jr. At the 4, Sean Hansen, a transfer from Cornell. And the guy that makes that lineup tick, it's Rafael Castro, the Providence transfer, nearly averaging a double-double this season, 8 double-doubles in his last 15 games. This guy is a monster at 6'11".
What he was able to do at the amphitheater, formerly known as the Duncan Center, down in good old Rhode Island, was nothing short of a miracle. The way that Castro was able to manage the offensive and defensive glass for the Friars is nothing short of a miracle. But you want to talk about steals, I want to talk Christian Jones, averages 2 a game. This guy's a turnover machine, likes to cause chaos, and the Fordham Rams, especially with a team, a starting 5 that isn't equipped for as much ball handling as with Jackie Johnson, we might see some turnovers on the part of Christian Jones.
The tip is live, and it's Tambila that wins it against the 6'11" big man. Big lob from Medor down to Dean, who misses on the right block. We're underway. Fordham gets an open look and misses.
So close to some instant offense there. Dean just can't finish right at the rim.
6'2" Jones on the right wing. Bounces inside for Hansen. Hops in. Left-hand hook goes. And GW the quick 2-0 lead.
Sean Hansen's one of those guys that came into the starting lineup during conference play. There's been pretty drastic lineup changes. Buchanan, Hutchinson, Moss all came out of the starting lineup at the beginning of A10 play. And the three guys who have slotted in, Hansen, one of them, have done so well.
Riley rips through top of the key. Handoff. Pettis moving right. Picks up his dribble and hands off to Medor on the right wing. 19-15 first half. Fordham trails 2-0. Bounce for Abdu Timbila, right elbow. Pulls up from 2, and it bounces out. Rebound by GW. Long feed ahead to Drumgool on the left wing. Opening minute here from the Rose Hill Gym. The final game this season at the Rose Hill Gym. Drumgool drives underneath the basket. Goes up tough. No basket. It's the travel by Gerald Drumgool Jr., the 6th-year senior.
And that's what you want to do with this defensive first lineup. You want to cause some chaos, get some travels in there, maybe some 3-second violations, some 10-second violations, not able to get it over the hash mark. Coach Keith Ergo is looking to get these Revolutioneers uncomfortable.
Pettis on the right wing, moving right, hands off Medor, moving left. His pass left to Zach Riley, rips through, and hands off Pettis. Pettis top of the key, swings it right for Medor, fakes the 3, and slows it down. Bounce short corner, Timbila. Enters the paint, working quickly on Hansen. His hook, airballed. Dean gets it back for the offensive rebound. Right wing 3, no good. Fordham cold to start.
The question when we saw this lineup, Lou, is where's the offense going to come from? Fordham 0 for 3 from the field to start.
A10's number 2 scorer, 51st in the nation, Jackie Johnson, not in the starting lineup for the first time all season. Hansen posts up, spins right, and his wild 2, no good. Off the backboard, does not hit rim. Pettis running point, lob down low. It's intercepted by Hansen. And there's an early steal for this GW team that's known for that. Working quickly. Kick to Autry. Open right wing 3. It's short. Rebound pulled down by Dean as he rips it away from Rafael Castro.
GW team leads the Atlantic 10 in steals per game.
Here's Jones who strips Medor out to Castro. Caught up from behind by Zach Riley, called for the foul, and that's probably the smart play. Riley not going to let Castro slam it down, going to make him earn it at the line.
And that's a great foul on the part of Riley. You can't let them get a momentum play like that. Make them earn it at the charity stripe. It's so much better than seeing an emphatic dunk, rather than making them maybe miss one at the line and then you're only looking at a 1-possession lead. But I want to talk a little bit about that turnover for Ryan Pettis. Again, just showing the noviceness, you know what I mean, the inexperience out of Pettis. Even when he's been on the court for the Fordham Rams, while he's the primary ball defender, he's not usually the primary ball handler.
Castro misses his first free throw. That's one of the rare areas he does not excel at, 61.6% from the line, and he gets there a lot. That's one of his skills, is drawing fouls.
He does pretty much everything else awesome. I mean, rebounding, getting inside, drawing those fouls. It's just about finishing at the line. Rafael Castro is such a weapon at 6'11", and is going to be an absolute chore for Fordham to handle down low in this game.
Takes 1 of 2 at the line. GW ahead 3-0, 17-42 first half. Pettis swings it left for Riley at the top of the key. Swung left again for Medor, off a screen, moves right, pulls the straight on 3. Takes a high hop off the rim, and it's pulled down by Castro of GW. Jones will take it up over on the left side. Screen coming from Castro. Jones moves right, now saunters left. Bounce onto the short corner for Castro. Double team, kicks corner for Hansen. Hansen drives baseline, 15 on the shot clock, he loses it. Turnover and Fordham ball.
And Hansen looking a little rattled today. He's had some heads-up plays. He didn't like the lack of foul he got under the rim when Abdu stuffed him, and then he dribbles out of bounds there. Hansen, again, mentally doesn't look there here in the historic Rose Hill Gym.
Pettis speeds ahead, blows by his man, bounces left block for Riley underneath the basket. Floater is good. Good feed by Pettis, and Fordham on the board, 3-2.
So good to see Zach get on the score sheet. Hadn't scored in 5 of his last 6 appearances. He can contribute on the offensive end for this team.
Fordham 3, GW 2, 16:53 first half. It's Castro up top. Fordham will leave him open behind three-point land. Drumgool into the lane. Fakes, spins away, now passes down low to Castro, who banks it in. And you're going to see a lot of that today.
And that's just the unfairness of Castro. Great team defense from Timbila and Riley, doubling the ball handler in Jones, and then Castro able to get it through traffic off the window for 2 points.
5-2 Revolutionaries. Fordham ready to make a 4-man substitution at the next break. 16-22 first half. Rams trail by 3. Hansen pokes away from Medor. Fordham keeps it here. Dean right wing resets to Medor. 5 on the shot clock. Kicks left, Pettis, deep left wing three. Off right iron. Timbila offensive rebound. Another chance of the Rams. Fading away in the paint. It's off the left side of the iron this time. Loose ball deflected out of bounds. It's GW ball. And now the mass changes come in. Jackie Johnson, Matt Zona, Jameer Tripp, and Josh Rivera all enter.
And Timbila there just with the great offensive rebound, but again, missing the kick out. He was doubled in the paint. You had Riley open, then the cutter went, and Rodin was open. Timbila, he's such a good rebounder, but he has to use his size to his advantage.
Castro quickly enters the paint. Contested two, no good. And Zona called for the foul. It's Rafael Castro coming to the line when we come back. GW 5, Fordham 2. It's Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym,
discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, and Chaz McAdams, three-man crew here for the Rose Hill Gym finale in the 2024-25 season. Fordham Rams riding their second six-game losing streak of the season. And, well, neither side here in this game between Fordham and GW off to the hottest of starts, but you see early that Rafael Castro could be a game breaker. His size down low as he's going back to the free throw line for a second straight time already here in the first 4 minutes.
Fordham have had trouble guarding bigs all season long, especially someone like Castro, who's that brand of big that's so talented and just such a weapon down low. You know, Matt Zona, not the best defender. Abdou Timbila, previously in his career, has been a really good defender, but has just kind of looked a little bit lost at times on the defensive end. I think Fordham are definitely going to have their hands full with Castro. Maybe have to think about some double teams possibly. He's going to be a force down there.
Castro in that class of bigs with Timbila. You got Fuchs out of the University of Rhode Island. Just absolute forces of nature in the restricted area. They're built for it. They're built like church doors here at the historic Rose Hill Gym. You got all the good Jesuit boys and girls with the ash cross on their forehead, as we are at the Jesuit University of New York. There's a certain class of big that you have in the Atlantic 10 where their size and strength may be their only weapon, but it's your best weapon on the floor. It's the case with Fuchs over there with the Rams of URI. It's the case with Dixon for the Duquesne Dukes. And it is absolutely the case for the GW Revolutionaries and my guy Castro.
Well, how about this GW team? One of the youngest rosters in the nation last year, brought in some veteran talent, and this is a team that's without the player that was supposed to be their star. Garrett Johnson, the redshirt sophomore, had that strong freshman season at 6'8", helped out a bit by some of the veteran size they brought in. We talk about Castro at 6'11" and a junior, but Hansen, the graduate player, 6'9" from Cornell, they got a little bit bigger and they got a little bit older.
Think about who their guy was last year. I mean, Darren Buchanan was really one of the guys for this offense, and now he finds himself in such a diminished role. He's going to be on the court here for the first time, but it's the experience of Hansen, the experience of Drumgold that they brought in that's really elevated this GW team to another level this year.
I know I'm not seeing Jason Tatum out there, but that Buchanan situation is an anomaly because there's no way you can look at a player like Buchanan, 15.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds, and 3.2 assists to boot. An all-around great player, not only in the college landscape, but especially in the Atlantic 10. And when you're in that middle-of-the-road pack, like the GW Revolutionaries often are, you need a guy like Buchanan to take you over the top.
Castro goes 1 of 2 from the line again. It's GW up 6-2 in the early going, 15:45 first half. Johnson into the game, moving left, pulls the left wing three, and hits! 6-5, Fordham back within 1. Johnson off the bench for the first time, it doesn't matter.
And that's a message sender, start me.
Here's Jones quickly into the front court, pulls out to the right wing. Finds Castro at the free throw line. Castro slows the offense down. At 6'11", the offense still runs through the big man. Castro on the right wing. Finds Bevins rolling right. Back to Castro underneath and back to the line, as that's the foul going against Matt Zona.
He's so big and so long, it's going to be tough to defend without fouling, especially it seems like early Chaz, active whistles underneath against Fordham.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going to give that foul to Josh Rivera, excuse me.
I was blessed with that. I thought you saw something on the scorebook that I didn't, and I was about to freak out because too early once for Zona is not what you need, especially when you need Abdou Timbila in there to defend a guy like Castro. But I want to talk a little bit about that Jackie Johnson off-ball defense there. Castro trying to go for a dribble handoff for Jones. 3 times he passed him on the perimeter, and Jackie sicking him on like a fly on paper, not letting any breathing room for Jones. Great defense by Jackie. Hope to see more of it throughout this game.
Castro makes both this time around. 8-5 GW, 15:05 first half. Johnson up top. Left wing bounces inside for Rivera, has it knocked out of bounds by Jacoy Hutchinson, staying here with the Rams.
Lou, you see why this team is first in the A10 in steals and 21st nationally at 9.1 per game. Their hands are so active whenever the ball's in Fordham's hands.
I talked to head coach Chris Caputo. It's really an impressive turnaround from a team that ranked very poorly defensively last year. Rivera, short corner, goes cross court for Zona. Left wing Mador, drive, and steps back short on the 3. As he got some opening there, but missed it well. Castro top of the key, swung right for Buchanan Jr. Back at the free throw line for Castro, guarded by Mador. That's a mismatch. Castro barreling down the lane, gets his own miss and draws the foul. This time it will be Matt Zona's second. Well, in practice, head coach, or assistant coach rather, Henry Lowe issued a warning to Matt Zona and Abdou Timbila. He said, watch out, Castro's going to try and draw fouls. We can't afford to lose you guys. That's 2 against Zona early.
And he might only shoot 61% from the line, but at the rate he's getting to the line, that doesn't really matter because the points are going to stack up anyway.
Guys,
Castro misses the first.
This is his 4th time at the line. Are we serious?
He's the only guy who shot free throws in this game so far.
Came in.
That's the only number 7 I see on the entire court. This is a remarkable campaign to get to the charity stripe.
Castro will split his trip. GW ahead 9-5, 14:30 first half. Came into the year getting to the line 172 times. Timbila checks back in for Zona, shovels back for Mador, moving right. Bounce to Josh Rivera, right wing. Jabs, hesitates, swings it left for Tripp. It's Tripp straight on, inside for Timbila, whips around, dunks it. But we get a foul on the floor prior to the shot. And it's going to be inside on number 4, Jacoy Hutchinson.
The connection for Fordham on those entry passes to Abdou Timbila this year, it's been pretty shaky. There's a lot of passes that have gone off of Abdou's hands, passes that have gone straight out of bounds. But a good entry pass there from Tripp to draw the foul.
And when the passes do get received often, you don't see them get out of the paint unless it's on a missed jumper.
Tripp's inbound goes into the backcourt. Johnson retrieves. 14:05 first half. Rams trail 9-5. It's Johnson at the half-court circle. Play develops. Timbila comes for the screen right. It's poked away by Hansen. Hutchinson down with the steal. And he'll slow it down as he curls back out right wing. Hutchinson guarded by Timbila. Drives right, underneath the basket, kicks out, left wing 3, it's good! Ty Bevins. GW out to a 12-5 lead.
They don't shoot the 3 a lot, they don't shoot it well. That time Bevins, though, gets the open look and cans it.
Jackie Johnson harassed along the sideline, steps out of bounds. Another turnover forced by this excellent and voracious GW defense.
And an ugly start so far for the Fordham Rams. Not really getting any of the looks they want or need on the offensive end. And defensively, they can't keep Castro off the stripe.
Hutchinson running point on the near side, guarded tightly by Johnson. Hansen sets the screen left, gets it on the pick and pop. Gives it back to Hutchinson. And back to Hansen, open right wing 3, rolls out. Timbila the rebound into the hands of Johnson. Johnson on the far side, he's blitzed, and the ball knocked away. Johnson keeps it here. Cross-court pass for Josh Rivera, left wing. Rivera into the paint for Timbila. Righty hook, it's good. Hot potato catches it, puts it right up, and the good roll.
There's a concerted effort from GW to put a lot of pressure on Jackie on the perimeter. Almost lost at that time, able to recover, and Fordham able to get it to Abdu down low.
Hutchinson, short corner for Hansen, driving baseline, takes contact, banks it in. No foul, but Hansen on the board, and GW ahead 14-7, 12:35 first half.
And when you're in foul trouble there, trying to go hands back like Abdu was, you're going to play weak defense, which is going to lead to easy buckets for a GW team that loves to attack the rim.
Rivera, left free throw line, dribbles right, hands off Riley, moving left. Swung left for Tripp, bobbles but keeps it here, 10 on the shot clock. Tripp, dribble drive, bounce underneath the basket for Timbila, hook no good. Rebound by GW.
I mean, that's a beautiful find for Jameer Tripp. Abdu's got to finish from that close with that open look.
Hansen, right wing, hands it off to Hutchinson. Hutchinson inside the paint for Hansen, shovels inside for Buchanan, right hand finish. All GW right now, 16-7 lead, under 12.
Hansen, Ivy League guy from Cornell. What do we know about the Ivy League guys? Smart.
Brilliant.
And a smart pass inside there from Sean.
Tripp, dribble handoff for Rivera, bounce pass into the lane, deflected to Timbila. Goes inside hard and lays it in contested.
Again, I talk about these guys, forces of nature. Abdu Timbila, when he's playing the game the right way, there's not a lot of guys in the Atlantic 10 that can stop him.
Buchanan drives in, unguarded, floater's no good. The tap back in by Hansen is. Curious decision by the Rams to let Buchanan drive all the way in.
I mean, he's not a shooter, but I think you need to push up a little bit more than that, Chaz.
Johnson, the drive, left-hand float, leaves it short. Rebound by Hutchinson to GW. It's 18-9 Revolutionaries. 11:04 first half. Hansen top of the key, gives back to Hutchinson. Steps back behind the three-point line. It's Timbila to guard. Hansen left post. Knocked away by Tripp. Loose scramble. Riley gonna dive and fall on it. Steal for the Rams. The hustle play by Riley. Out ahead to Johnson on the near side. Puts it between the legs. Swings it right for Riley. Fakes the handoff. Drives on Hansen. Down to the block. Now backs it out. Johnson left wing. Step back three. Air ball. Missed everything.
Abdu was screaming for that ball down low early in that sequence. Jackie didn't see him.
Early on, it's been a concentrated effort to feed Abdu Timbila in the paint. And the Rams trail by 9 in the under 12 media timeout. It's 18-9 GW. 10:28 left in the first half. With that, let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Nathan Rogers, the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Up and pack your bags because we're making stops all around college hoops tonight. In the A-10, the LaSalle Explorers visit the number 2 team in the conference, the George Mason Patriots. George Mason has won 12 of their last 14 games, and on their senior night, they trail by 2 with 10 minutes left in the first half. Next, St. Bonaventure hosts a solid UMass team tonight. The current score is 23-16, Bonnie's leading. Elsewhere in the A-10, it's senior day in Philly as Rhode Island visits a St. Joseph team fighting for A-10 seeding. The Hawks lead by 1 with 12 minutes left in the first. On the night shift tonight, the Davidson Wildcats look to close out the regular season strong with its last road trip of the season against Loyola Chicago. That game having a 9 p.m. tip-off. In the top 25, March Madness is just around the corner and the big dance is heating up. Number 5 Florida takes a trip to Tuscaloosa for an SEC marquee matchup against 7th-ranked Alabama. The Gators currently trailing by 2 with 11 minutes left in the first half. Over in the Big Ten, number 17 Michigan hosts 13th-ranked Maryland. The Wolverines, only losing twice this season at home, are currently down 33-22 at halftime. Number 11 Clemson, having the best away record in the program history so far, travels to Boston College. The current score there is 21-11, Clemson leading. Finally, the number 8 seeded Lady Rams of Fordham women's basketball begin their quest for the 2025 A-10 title as they play tomorrow against number 9 Duquesne. Tip-off is at 11 a.m. With the one-on-one scoreboard, it's Nathan Rogers.
Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. It's an 18-9 lead for GW, and, well, not quite the offensive start the Fordham Rams had last time out. You think back to that St. Joe's game where they were shooting 50% from the field. As it stands right now, Fordham 4 of 15 from the field and 1 of 6 from 3. fellas, we talk about how this team has really struggled to play 40 minutes of complete basketball. They look a little out of whack on the offensive end right now.
It's the turnovers, too. 4 turnovers already. In that St. Joe's game, Lou, 9 turnovers for this Fordham team. It's rare to see them under 10. That's a really good number, but to already be at 4 halfway through this first half, it's been really sloppy on the offensive end to start. And then they're struggling to contain Castro on the defensive end. It really has felt like a very 2024-25 Fordham basketball pretty much summed up in the opening 10 minutes of that first half.
This offense looks scouted right now. The dribble handoffs, the overs, the unders on the screens, the backdoor cuts. GW's done a great job of mapping out this Fordham offense to a T. They're not letting any room for breath. This is going to be a rough one for the Rams if they don't adjust.
3-2 zone. Jones, free throw line entry to Castro, sends it back out. Left wing 3, rattles in. Trump Ghoul. And it's a double-digit lead for GW.
You set up in the 3-2, you figure make him shoot from the outside. They don't shoot it well. 2 of 4 so far in the night.
31.1% from beyond the arc are the Revolutionaries entering today. That's third to last in the A10. Rivera, double team, spins into the lane, kicks out Tripp. Tripp loses it, but it's Dean to recover on the left wing. 10 on the shot clock, under 10 to go first half. Tripp left wing, pulls up from deep mid-range and misses off the heel. It's pulled down by GW. Diane Nissa the rebound. Taken up by Trey Moss. Leaves it back for Jones. Left wing 3. No good. Rebound for the freshman Ryan Pettis. Across to Medor. Bounce corner for Tripp. He'll pull from 3. No good either. Offensive rebound by Medor. Has it completely stripped away by Drum Ghoul on that short corner. But Drum Ghoul looks to be called for the foul. Actually, they'll get Christian Jones, number 2.
Seems like there's a lid on the basket right now, Chaz. 4 of 17 from the field for Fordham. That's 23.5%. A couple outside chances from Tripp. Shots from distance won't go.
Only the Fordham Rams could shoot worse than GW in a basketball game. This is ridiculous. You got to guard up more. You know if they're going to get hot, it's going to be a bad start for you guys. Offensively, you got to be better.
Medor right elbow. Out to Pettis. Pettis, step back on the mid-range. He hits. Early bucket for the freshman. 21-11, Fordham trails by 10, 9 minutes left first half.
And I love the footwork there. Ryan Pettis with the step back, up fake, pivot out, and the nice little midi.
Corner for Nissa. Fordham cheats found the 3-2. Back out to Jones. Swung left for Drum Ghoul. Get it to the free throw line. Castro to a cutting Nissa. Gets Pettis in the air and banks it in.
It's textbook how to break that 3-2 zone. The cutter from the corner. Beautiful find from Castro. Fordham's got to be alert to those cutters.
Those
crisp passing around the perimeter, too.
And those bottom 2 guys got to communicate more. It's too quiet on defense.
Tripp left wing. Corner feed for Ahmad Dean. Back up top, Tim Bila. Throws it to the corner where it's intercepted by Christian Jones. Another steal for GW. Jones lobs it up and it's smacked out of bounds by Timbila. Wanted the alley-oop for Rafael Castro. Timbila there every step of the way.
At this point for Fordham on offense, you have to know GW have done their homework in the dribble handoffs. They've done their homework that you guys are just going to pass the ball around on the perimeter for the first 20 seconds of the shot clock, and they're going to jump those passing lanes.
The offense for GW is so efficient and so precise. These guys always know where they need to be. It's all about communication.
Jones drives baseline, cut off by Timbila. His kick out secured off the one hand by Trey Moss. Sent over to Trey Autry on the right wing. Saunters left, now drives inside right. Gets Dean in the air, kicks out in the shot clock. Nissa spinning on Pettis, stumbling. Air ball secured by Abdu Timbila. Good defense that time by the Rams. Riley across to Pettis. Corner feed Medor. Fakes. Drives baseline and draws the push along that baseline by GW. That will be their third foul of the half. 7:46 in the first half. It's GW ahead by 12, 23-11. And we'll take another quick break for the men's basketball on 90.7 FM.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch One on One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One on One.
Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Lou Orlando joined by Nick Guzman and Chaz McAdams. It's the second straight 6-game losing streak of the season for the Fordham Rams after that 90-76 loss to St. Joe's last time out. It's the first time since 2018 that Fordham's had 2 different 6-game losing streaks. At this stage of the season, they can only be the 14 seed. Right now, LaSalle at 4-12. Fordham has the tiebreaker, so Rams are pretty much deadlocked at the bottom of the A10, and we've heard a lot this year that the Rams have had good energy, good effort the entire way. But you have to imagine with the losses piling up that this has been a tough season for the psyche of these players.
And I feel like it'd be natural for it to be a tough season on the psyche of these players. I mean, 3-13 in conference play, it's obviously not gone the way that anybody would hope. Keith Ergo has said, consistently that, this is the best practice we had this season, coming after a loss or after a couple losses, saying the efforts never changed in practice. And I don't know if that's true, but I think it has to weigh on you a little bit as a player when you're struggling quite as much as the Rams are this season.
I think it's a mental fortitude issue. I think some of those losses in non-conference play and those early conference losses, I was just talking to some staff members the other day. Think about the timeline really quick. So you get blown out at St. John's, kind of expected. You get your win of the season, you thought, at Seton Hall. Turns out they're barely a Big East program at this point. And you rack up some dainty little wins here and there. You lose to Manhattan, which is borderline unacceptable for your program. You lose to Drexel. Then you get some false confidence from that 5-game winning streak at the end of conference play after the 0-2 trip to Daytona versus Power 5 teams. And then you come into conference play off a 5-game win streak with all this confidence and get blown out on New Year's Eve day by St. Louis. And that really set the tone for the rest of the season, where we're not as good as we thought we were.
Well, and here's one of the frustrating things is, yes, they opened the season with back-to-back blowouts against St. Louis, against St. Bonaventure. This Fordham team has not been blown out a ton. They've had a lot of close games against some of the best teams in the A10. And in every single game, you can pinpoint a stretch where they lose the game. And that almost makes it more infuriating. Medor off the baseline inbound. Quickly drives left. He's cut off. Spins around and leaves it short on the right elbow. It's back out with an offensive rebound. Open 3 for Riley. No good off right iron. Offensive rebound again for Abdou Timbila, but called for the over-the-back foul.
I'm not a fan of that call. Abdou's out there getting boxed out, and he goes up for the rebound. The guy's already in front of him, and he's going vertical. The guy's going under him, almost cutting him off, and we're calling over the backs when Fordham's down 12.
GW had 23-11. Jones takes it up. Right wing, bounce inside for Hansen, right block. Double team, leaves it down low for Buchanan, who lays it in. Fordham completely left him open on the left.
Sean Hansen doesn't seem like a guy that you can double team. He's going to find those passes down low.
Ramad Dean again gambling for the foul in the post takeaway. That's not our game.
Medor left elbow, saunters right, swings it across to Johnson, right wing. Johnson nearly has it poked loose by Jones. 10 on the shot clock, swings left Dean. Left wing now for Medor. 6 on the shot clock. Medor across to Dean. Back for Johnson. Jab. 2 on the shot clock. Johnson, corner, Riley. His 3 left short. Riley steals it back. Another chance for the Rams. He poked it away from Christian Jones. Medor double teamed. Free throw line entry for Riley. Down low. And a whistle called here as Riley tried to send it across to Abdou Timbila. And I believe he drew the foul down low with Sean Hansen.
And that's the second dive for Riley this game. If we want to really talk the talk and walk the walk about the attitude system, that's the reason that Zach Riley was in the starting lineup for so long. Those 2 dives were probably the 2 best plays for the Fordham Rams so far. You see Keith Ergo getting hype on the sideline. Those are the plays that get you back into games. Great play by Auckland.
GW 25, Fordham 11. And another whistle to blow this play dead. It's a foul that's going to go against Darren Buchanan. That will be George Washington's 5th foul of the half.
They are so aggressive trying to bust up those handoffs on the perimeter.
Because they know that they're coming.
Clearly well scouted, as Chaz mentioned earlier, as that handoff has been a big part of this Fordham offense. all season long. Jones strips it away from Johnson. Jones in transition, hangs in the air, gets the shot to fall, and one. Christian Jones taking it to the cup with athleticism.
The extension out onto the outside of your body, massive wingspan. Jaffe Medor, a great shot blocker in transition. Perfectly timed, goes up for the ball. The body knowledge to be able to go back up, bring the ball to your chest, and still lay it off the glass, going fully momentum-wise past the backboard with enough finesse to kiss it off the window. Oh my gosh, Christian Jones. Oh my gosh.
Pretty play by the redshirt freshman. He gets the free throw for the three-point play. Medor takes it up. I mean, guys, maybe a little bit, I hate to bring this up, but maybe a different sense of urgency between these two. Johnson runs the floater inside, no good. Tambila offensive rebound, hop into the paint, lefty hook, no good. Dean offensive rebound, third chance for the Rams. Goes up and blocked by Castro, and this time GW ball. It's Jones that will take it up after that athletic three-point play. Top of the key, swung right. Jacoy Hutchinson backs it out. And now drives right of the lane. Right elbow extended for Castro. Gives it back to Hutchinson. Free throw line lob for Castro. No good on the tip. Tambila out ahead to Johnson. 5:39 first half. Rams trail 28-11. Johnson double teamed and fouled. 6th of the half on GW. That one going against Hutchinson.
And Castro coming very early on that double. I think Johnson should have seen Abdu in the paint a little bit quicker there, but still Johnson drawing the foul again. You want these guys to get in foul trouble early. That'll loosen up that tight defense that they're playing on your perimeter, on your dribble handoffs. You'll have a little more room to breathe.
Both teams at 6 fouls on the half, both on the precipice of being in the bonus. Rivera will be the trigger man near sideline. Fakes the pass corner, goes straight on Johnson. 5:32 first half, Rams trail 28-11. Medor right wing. Bounce top of the key, Zona. Sends it to the far corner for Dean. His three rattles out. Fordham ice cold. Offensive rebound, Medor. Back out Johnson. Open three. Yes! Fordham finally gets one to fall. 28-14. 5:13 in the first half.
Finally is right. 2 for 11 now from deep, this Fordham team. It seems like there's been a lid on the basket from deep.
Drumgoole left wing. Resets up top for Buchanan. Not a shooter. And Fordham will sit off of him. Right elbow. Throws it short corner for Castro. Hand off Drumgoole. Back to Castro. Loose ball. Fordham called for the foul. And that will be a 1-and-1 for GW.
And that's on Roma. Dean just trying to get in the passing lane there. The ref not liking the aggression. Seen it too much from GW. Wants to call it both ways. I understand the call. Don't love it though.
Castro to the line for 1-and-1. To the point about urgency. Not that both teams don't have something to play for, but Fordham essentially landlocked either 14th or 15th. GW sits 8th in the A10. The cutoff for the bye is 9th. Castro misses the free throw, ball is live. If they don't win this game, this is their last game of the season, they could find themselves playing on Wednesday. Dean dribbling left, hands off to Rivera, left wing. It's back out to Johnson, top of the key. Behind the back pass to Zona up top. Sends to the far corner, Medor. His three is good. Back-to-back threes for the Rams. Cutting away at this GW lead, 28-17, 4.5 first half.
And Jaffe Medor, the Iceman for the Fordham Rams. His second three of the game, going in so pretty. Good basketball.
Jaffe Medor has been one of the best point guards in the A10 come conference play. Buchanan, bounce pass to the paint, two-hand slam. Rafael Castro throwing it down with authority.
Fordham are just unaware of what's going on behind them down low. So many backdoor cuts from GW.
Again, I talked about the communication.
30-17 GW. Revolutionaries up by 13 here with 4 to play in the half. Zona right wing, corner feed Medor. Drives baseline, hop into the paint, goes down low for Rivera. Through contact, banks it in.
An absolute physical specimen, Josh Rivera, able to take all that contact from the big man Castro and still maintain momentum, putting one, kissing it off the glass.
Feed down low for Buchanan, righty floater, short corner, one hop off the rim and in. 32-19, GW ahead, 3:30, half number 1. It's Rivera on the near side, picks up the dribble, near corner for Dean. Screen to the left elbow for Zona. Zona looking for a pass, finds Rivera straight on. Pulls the open three. It bounces out. Offensive rebound goes all the way back out to Johnson. A wild pass is intercepted by Drumgoole. Ill-advised pass by Jackie Johnson there after getting the offensive rebound.
Cross-court pass with about 3 sets of hands in the way.
And no look, too. He flung with both hands from the opposite slot.
Jones moves right off the Castro screen. Guarded by Zona. Gets into the corner here for Bevins. Bevins spins on Rivera. Right-hand hook, no good. And Rivera pulls down the rebound. Fordham ball. 2:35 to go, half number one. Fordham trails 32-19. Johnson off a screen, driving left, hangs in the air, banks it in. Pretty move with the left hand.
First time we've seen Jackie really able to get to the basket in this game. I think he's at his best when there's the threat that he's going to blow by you with that left hand and lay it up and in.
Team high 8 points for Johnson off the bench. Timeout called by the Fordham Rams. It will get extended into our media timeout. Fordham within 11. It's 32-21. Final 2 minutes and 19 seconds of half number one. Fordham basketball on WFUV Sports. Back to Nathan Rogers for the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Sticking with basketball tonight, there's a full slate of NBA games this Wednesday evening. Over in Boston, the red-hot Trailblazers look to climb the standings of the Western Conference. Celtics are up by 5 at the end of the first quarter. Over in North Carolina, the Timberwolves lead the struggling Charlotte Hornets by 9. And in an Eastern Conference marquee matchup, the Heat travel from Miami to Cleveland in a tight battle as they're going back and forth. The score there is 26-25 Cavs. Back to A-10 basketball, LaSalle is looking to upset George Mason as they're widening their lead to 8 with 3 minutes left to go until halftime. The Bonnies and the UMass Minutemen are in a tough battle. The score is 33-31, Bonnies leading. Over in the top 25, the Florida Gators are knotted up against Alabama at 21 each with just under 10 minutes to go in the first. With the one-on-one scoreboard, it's Nathan Rogers.
Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM. Well, GW comes into this game 19-11 on the season. 8-9 in conference. They're not going to play on the weekend. This will be their last game of the 2024-2025 regular season. And like we said before the break, they really need this win. 8-9 in conference. You got 2 7-9 teams in St. Bonaventure and UMass that have 2 games left and could leap them. So GW with a win can go as high as 7. With a loss, they can fall as low as 10. They need this win, and they'd sure love to have it. They're up 11 right now.
Definitely don't want to fall to 10 and have to play on that first day of the tournament. GW right now in 7th at 8 and 9. You know, it's been an interesting schedule for them. They had a bye their first week of the season, and now a bye the last week of the A-10 season. Doesn't really help you in terms of rest, but I think for this George Washington team, you see clearly that they have something to play for. They want that 7th seed. They don't want to have to play on day one. And I feel like this is a team that could possibly do some damage, maybe upset some people come tournament time in DC.
And as far as passionate coaches go, we talk a lot about Keith Ergo. Chris Caputo might be up there, man. That guy loves ball. And he is just on the sideline screaming, barking. He always knows where his players need to be, where his players need to go, and he'll let them know about that with his voice. But again, I want to talk about the Buchanan situation a little bit because I'm confused because that guy can hoop. And he is not getting the minutes that he's gotten last year.
And suffered an ankle injury earlier in the season, right after the A-10 opener, missed 2 games, and he's come back, and you're right, production's been off the cliff, or fell off the cliff for Buchanan, who was an all-rookie team selection last year.
I think when you have Castro, too, being the guy that you're giving the ball to, I think having both Castro and Buchanan on the court at the same time might be a little redundant in terms of what they're both their skill sets.
But Chaz, you mentioned Caputo and what he's done just in 3 seasons here. Hansen takes an open corner 3 and misses. Foul on the floor. Looks to be going against the Rams. That's number 0, Jaffe Mador. Guilty of the foul, and that will be free throws here for the GW Revolutionaries.
I thought that was going to be an over the back on Drumgoole. The way he grabbed that offensive rebound, he almost grabbed Jaffe's head by accident.
Look at what Caputo has done with this squad. Last year they finished dead last in the A-10. Only won 4 A-10 games. Autry makes the first free throw. They were second to last in the conference in scoring defense and turnovers forced. And in this season, he's flipped that entirely around with this new system that they're playing defensively, brought in some transfers, and they've really bought in.
It honestly gives you hope maybe for Fordham next season, that considering how much GW struggled on that end of the floor last season, you wouldn't be able to tell at all by watching them in this game. They are so active on the defensive end. They're always in the right spots, something Fordham has not done at all this season.
Autry takes both. It's 34-21, GW, 2:05 first half. Rivera, left side drive, hops into the paint, kicks out Medor. Right wing three, no good, but he drew the foul. 3 free throws coming up for Fordham's senior point guard.
It's been tough for Jaffe in the last couple of games, 29% from the field in the last 4, but I think Fordham's best stretch of this Atlantic 10 season was when Jaffe Medor was playing well and was shooting the ball efficiently.
And the important thing about Medor is, yes, you'd love him to score it. He can score at bunches. He can be a valuable player for your team, even if the scoring touch isn't there. Throughout the course of A-10 play, third throughout the entire conference in assists per game, up to 4.8. So he's a great facilitator, whether or not he's shooting the ball well.
It's because he's so good at drawing guys in. He's got the on-court gravity that you miss with a guy like Jackie Johnson, because you know the shot is going up. When Jaffe Medor gets the ball, I know it's a cliche, that triple threat position is so real for him. He can dribble right by you. One of the fastest, quick first steps in the Atlantic 10. He can shoot the lights out from beyond the arc because he's so efficient. And he's so athletic that he can jump over you for a jump shot. Michael Jordan style, I'm talking 23. And then his court vision is the best on this Fordham Ram team. Jaffe Medor is the key to this Fordham offense. He's the barometer. When he's playing well, the Rams are.
Medor takes 2 of 3 at the line, 34-23 GW. Final minute 53 and a half, number 1. Castro, far side short corner. Steps up to the left elbow, works on trip, fades away, contested and buries. That's a tough shot.
It's just elite shot making. Jameer Tripp doesn't bite on any of the jabs, any of the bumps, and he's still able to fade away and drain it.
Tripp, great pass down low to Rivera, who loses the ball, and it's stripped away by Castro. Up ahead to Jones. Shovels back for Bevins, gives back to Jones in the near corner. Fakes and drives. Cut off by Medor, spins it to the lane. Wild shot, no good. But last touch by Ramad Dean on the rebound effort. 2 guys on the same team going for the ball. Dean and Medor, and Dean slaps it out of bounds.
The word I used at the beginning is, again, they're back in this 3-2. You just got to communicate.
Quick inbound to Castro on the right side, working on Medor. Bullies his way in and misses the easy 2. Offensive rebound by Autry, banks it in. Well, a rare miss by Castro, who's 3rd in the nation in field goal percentage, and they get it right back at the points.
How can that be the matchup off an inbounds? Castro on Medor.
Unreal.
That's an 11-inch height differential. Tripp drives left. Reverse layup blocked by Castro. Ball trickles out of bounds. Going to be last touched. No, they're going to call a foul here along the side, as that's number 11, Ty Bevins. So on the loose scramble for the ball. Actually, wait, this foul's going to go into the Fordham Rams. So it's Autry going to the line. Fordham's 9th foul of the half. Fordham had a chance to get that ball back. If it's just a clean out of bounds play, I think that's off GW. Instead, the foul and free throws here for the Revolutionaries.
But I'm not even mad at that, because the matchup, again, I talk about this a lot. A lot of teams, they can attack the pick and roll one-on-one matchups and get their bigs on Jackie and Jaffe, but those 2 are some of the strongest small guards in this league. The issue on that play was Ramad Dean jumping for joy and block chasing that ball. You just got to go hands up, hands back. Don't foul him. Don't go over your limit, and just try to play some fundamental defense. Don't go for the block.
Autry takes both at the line. Perfect 4-4 so far in the game. GW 40, Fordham 23. Medor curling down, kicks out. Johnson, right wing 3. It's off left iron. Dean flies in for the offensive rebound and slaps it into the hands of Christian Jones for GW. Final 33 seconds a half, number 1.
It's about as depressing of a first half, I think, as we've seen here at the Rose Hill Gym in a while.
7 seconds separating shot clock and game clock. Jones cross court for Bevins, inside for Buchanan. Back to the basket, kicks out for Bevins. Here's Buchanan left wing. He'll drive on Dean. Plants his feet at the block, banks it in with 10 seconds left. It's a 19-point lead for GW. Final 5 seconds for the Rams. Johnson drives, splits. And Fordham will call timeout with 3.4 left in half number one. And Nick, I think you're absolutely right. It's a 19-point hole for the Fordham Rams. Just 23 points here in the first half. That's one game removed from having 47 against St. Joe's on Saturday.
And I think these players just look mentally checked out. If we're being totally honest, we need some more dives, some more guys like Zach Riley that are going all out, even though they're locked in. They're playing Wednesday at the bottom seed. You can make some magic happen in that A-10 tournament. We saw teams, guess who played on Wednesday in the A-10 tournament last year? The Duquesne Dukes.
Absolutely.
The eventual Atlantic 10 champions.
Duke came on an impressive run last year all the way in the A-10 tournament. Actually won a game, knocking off BYU in the NCAA tournament as well. That was a team that started out their season 0-5 before getting it all together and putting an impressive surge from late January on. No such surge for the Fordham Rams this year, as they've lost 6 straight games at 2 different junctures this season, trying to avoid a 7th straight loss here in the Rose Hill Gym. Not looking good right now as they trail by 19 in the first half. It's going to be a high near side inbound for Zach Riley with 3.4 on the shot clock. Fordham has shot 28% from the field and just, or I should say 28% from the field, 21% from 3. A lengthy stoppage here after the timeout.
And not sure what we're paused for.
Looks like the referee over at the scorer's table.
I think we're adding time. Keith Ergo calling for a timeout much sooner after he was given to him, and the ref looking to make amends after the timeout was called. Oh my gosh, I'm a psychic.
Oh, they'll add some time. This will be 4.9 seconds left. Zach Riley, the high side inbound. 5 on the court for the Fordham Rams. Riley, Johnson, Timbila, Dean, and Medor. Riley slaps the ball, looks left. Nearing 5 seconds here. Riley needs to send it out. Gets Timbila on top of the key. Swung right for Johnson. Final 3 seconds. A deep heave. Raises the rim. And Fordham will go into halftime. A 19-point hole. They trail 42-23. It's one of their lowest scoring outputs of the season at halftime. Overall, not a good showing for the Rams.
Yeah, there haven't been very many games, despite Fordham being 3-13 in the A-10. I think where you've been able to question the effort or the intensity. I think it's fair to question the effort and the intensity in that first half. Fordham down 42-23. Didn't shoot the ball well, didn't defend well. Not nearly as many of the hustle plays that were the attitude-type plays, Chaz, that we're used to seeing. It just felt like a 3-13 team playing that's just kind of trying to get to the end of the season here.
And that's the worst thing you can say about a team that's at the bottom of the league, that they are playing like their record. You want to exceed expectations. You want to go above and beyond. And there just doesn't seem to be any of that for the Fordham Rams. I need to see more. Despite that first half, they are still in it. The Fordham Rams can get hot. Their offense has been so bad, and they are down not by 20 yet. So there is a world, there is a universe where the Fordham Rams can come back and win this game if they're really about playing their best basketball in March.
Well, GW, they are 16-2 when they hold their opponents under 70 points. That's looking pretty good right now, a 42-23 lead as we enter halftime at the Rose Hill Gym. That'll do it for us for now. We send it back to Keating Hall. It's the one-on-one halftime show with Owen Kelty and Nathan Rogers.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome into the one-on-one halftime report. I'm Owen Kelty, joined by Nathan Rogers. Fordham trails this one 42-23, and it's just been some lackluster play so far from Fordham. The Rams are struggling on offense, have not been able to get much going at all, and on the defensive side of the ball, they have not been able to stop Rafael Castro, who leads this game with 11 points. Before we get into it all of what happened in that first half, Lou Orlando talked to Coach Ergo prior to tonight's game.
Lou Orlando with Fordham men's basketball head coach Keith Ergo ahead of Wednesday's game against GW. Coach, looking at the film against that game against St. Joe's, I know we had talked before about big offensive first halves. You had that. Is it one where you need a bigger lead in the first half going into halftime, or you need the stronger push in the second half?
It's a little bit of both, right? We've had, we were talking about it actually today. I mean, I can't imagine there's too many teams at Fordham that have had 6 or more 45-plus point halves. We've had 6, 47-plus, 51 half, and So we've had the ability to score in bunches. Unfortunately, in a lot of those halves that we have scored those points, we've given up right around the same amount. And that's our Achilles heel. I mean, it's not about the offensive end. We're scoring more points than any other time since 1989. Unfortunately, we just haven't put together both sides of the floor too often. And the funny thing is, we know that. The guys know that. They want to try to adjust it. They understand how important it is. They understand we are 3 or 4 stops away from having 6, 7, maybe even 8 more wins in this league. Under the 4-minute timeout, we're in 2-possession games, and for whatever reason, we can't string enough stops together and make the plays when necessary. But I will tell you, the energy, the attitude is off the charts. We had our best practice in the last 2 months yesterday. And I expect nothing but the same today.
You look at this GW defense, top 3 in the conference in steals and turnovers forced. They defend the 3-ball pretty well. What's the challenge going up against them?
Yeah, they play hard, and they know their roles. They play the 2 bigs that are active and play hard, and they do a good job keeping the ball on the side of the floor where they kind of ice ball screens and sometimes soft blitz, which confuses some teams. It's a little bit different. So we want to make sure we should continue to share the ball and get down and try to get Castro in some post ISOs where he's got to play some defense and wear his legs out with some of our duck-ins. And we got to abuse the paint. We got to crash the offensive glass. But they do a really good job on their switches, and they do a really good job of keeping their bigs out of foul trouble.
We've heard a lot about we want to be the best team we can be by the end of the year. So not even looking at wins or losses, last 2 games of this season, what specifically are you looking for that going into A10s you would say that's really good, that puts us in a good spot?
Yeah, it's not about the offensive end, it's about defense. Stringing together stops, understanding defense is going to help us when it matters. And we believe if we get more stops consistently, we're going to have a chance to beat anybody that we play.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Go Rams.
Ergo talked a lot there about how it was a tale of 2 halves. And once again, Fordham comes out in this one, and they have a very poor first half. Chaz said it, though, right before they sent it back to us. The game's not over yet. They trailed by 20 at the half of that Davidson game, and in the end, they did make that one somewhat competitive. They did end up losing it in the end, but this one, they mentioned it, they just seem out of it. They don't seem involved in this game. They weren't fired up at the beginning. This game since the beginning has felt like it's been heading towards a loss. And I know GW is the best defensive team in the A10, and it's really getting to them right now. I'll throw it to you, Nathan. What do you have seen from Fordham's offense that the 23 points at the half is not great? What have you seen from them that's why they're struggling so much?
As you said, Kelty, the GW team has one of the best defensive teams in the A10. They lead the A10 in steals. They have 5 steals already in the first half. Ergo has been banging the drum for defensive stops for all season, especially against St. Joe's last game. Really needed stops there. They are not getting stops. GW has 9 points already off turnovers. They're down by 19. We need more guys like Zach Riley, like Chaz said on the broadcast during the first half. Zach Riley has 2 steals. He was getting down and dirty on the court. They need more guys like him, also crashing the boards too.
I mean, if you look at it, the effort just has not been there for them. And GW, this game does matter a lot more for them. As Lou said on the broadcast, they need this win to get a bye into the A10 tournament. Fordham is pretty much locked up into that last spot of the A10. They'll be in the tournament anyway, but they aren't going to make it. Or they don't have a chance for a bye. But looking at them offensively, they've taken 6 more shots than George Washington. They've taken 33 to George Washington's 27, but they're 9 of 33, 23% or 27% from the field, 3 of 15 from 3, and then 20%. That's 20% from 3. That's just not going to get it done for them. I mean, they talked about it. The effort, I think, in this one's unacceptable. I want to hear your thoughts on that. They're down by 19. Last home game for a lot of these guys. It's the last home game at the Rose Hill Gym. I mean, the effort's got to be better, right?
At halftime, Ergo's got to go in the locker room and get them ready, get them locked in. When I was beat reporting for the St. Joe's game, this seems like a flip-flop from this. In the first half, the Fordham team was taking care of the ball. They were taking care of the ball. They only had 3 or 4 turnovers in the first half. after the halftime break, they come out and they had about 4 turnovers in the first 3 minutes of the second half. In this, now it's a flip-flop. The first half of this game, they have all these turnovers, and they're shooting 27% from the field. And they really need to lock in here. Jackie Johnson, like with those turnovers, can't have that, especially coming off the bench too, which was surprising. They need to also not let Castro get hot in the second half. They really need to lock him down. As Chaz was saying on the first half broadcast, Jackie Johnson was not only trying to lock him up on ball, but also off ball. Ergo was talking about how GW is really good with their off ball screens and what they do under the basket and through the paint. They cannot let Castro get hot. Last game, Xavier Brown for St. Joe's got player of the week because Fordham couldn't handle his offensive hand in the second half. So I think the key to the game here is, as Chaz said, we are down. Fordham is down by 19, but they do need to take care of the ball and let Castro not get hot.
And right now, Fordham is on a 6-game losing streak. At some point, that has to get to you. They're last in the A10, 2 games left. For a lot of these guys, you hope they go out playing with some passion towards the end. Last game at Rose Hill, but 6 in a row. Looking at not making. You can still make a run in the A10 tournament. Everyone gets in, but 6 in a row. That's got to hurt you, right? It's got to do something to your confidence.
Definitely a mental struggle. As you said, everyone makes the A10 tournament. Not everyone gets a bye, but those first couple games really got to come out swinging. And if you're not having that momentum, the last 2 games, there's only one more game against URI on Saturday for this men's team. So I think they really need to use this half to, if they're not going to cut the lead down, at least take care of the ball, lock down Castro, crash the boards, move off ball. And I was going to ask you what you think about opening the second half with a full court press, because
you got it at this point.
This team needs to come out electric in the second half, but the only issue is that when they do that, they have one guy up on the sideline, and then it's basically a 2-2 formation. 2 people in midcourt, and then 2 people on in between the hoop and the midcourt. When that happens, sometimes they get diced up. That happened against Manhattan early in the season. They get diced up. So I think they should go full court press here, but they should be advised that their bigs might get diced up at midcourt. So if they want to bring energy, I think they really should come out with the gun swinging and get it going for the second half.
Yeah, something has to change going into that second half. Fordham down by 19 in this one. Overall, just a frustrating half. Even looking at the free throws, George Washington, 14 free throws to Fordham's 3. At the beginning, that felt like we'll put them out. Castro had 7 free throws within the first 5 minutes, and I think that might have been frustrating for them. But down 19, it's going to take a big comeback in this one. They're going to have to come out fired up. But that is going to do it for us in the Rose Hill studios. Fordham's trailing this one 42-23. We're going to send it back to Lou, Nick, and Chaz at the historic Rose Hill Gym after this quick break.
Hey guys, it's Jamir Tripp from Fordham Men's Basketball. You can catch all of our games on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page. And make sure to fill the hill this season as we celebrate 100 years in the Rose Hill Gym. WFUV is the home of Fordham basketball. Go Rams.
Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams, a 3-man booth for the regular season home finale. Fordham Rams. And it's the Fordham Rams trailing 42-23 after one half of play. Guys, to put it bluntly, it was not a sharp first half at all for the Fordham Rams. And when we talked to Chris Caputo, the head coach of GW, coming into this game, GW's been on a big win-loss pattern. They haven't been able to string 2 wins together since January. And he said they just don't have the offensive firepower to get big leads on teams and to blow teams out. Well, right now they're blowing out the Fordham Rams by 19.
And listen, Luke, Fordham's offense has not been the problem this season. They're middle of the pack in most of the Atlantic 10 statistics. The defense is at the bottom, as we know. But when your defense plays in a way where they're giving up 40 points a half, you can't afford to have an offensive first half like Fordham had just now, scoring 23 points. You think about, they were up 47-45 against St. Joe's last time out at the halftime break. The offense looked fluid. in this game, Chaz, it's been so rough offensively. The outside shots not falling. They're not getting to the free throw line either. Only free throws, those 3 from Jaffe Medor when he was fouled on the outside. So GW's defending down low without fouling, something Fordham has not been able to do. Seems like if you were to break down sort of any metric in this game, GW is on top. Fordham need to figure things out, down by 19 here at the break.
They're just, it's very little I can say about this game. Again, you said every metric. They got 10 assists. Fordham's winning the rebounding battle by the numbers, but it seems like Castro's controlling the glass with such gusto. There's just no amount of fight that this Fordham Ram team has put in that first half, and there had to be a legendary halftime speech by Somer's own head coach Keith Urgo to get these guys rallied.
A much different looking first half from the one we saw on Saturday, St. Joe's.
So sorry, a correction. The reason I thought Fordham was winning the rebounding battle is because they were up 17-15 with 2 minutes to go. They're now down 21-17. 0 rebounds in the last 2 minutes of that game.
It's been a tough first half for the Fordham Rams. Last time out against St. Joe's, they had one of their stronger first halves of the season, shot over 50% from the field, and had a 47-45 lead to show for it. They then got outscored by 16 and shot 28% in the second half. It's that team in the second half that's carried its way into this game so far. But Nick, you and I were here just a few weeks ago when this team was down big against Davidson after a really rough first half. They used the full court press to work their way back into the game, made it close, got within 4, about 5 minutes left in the game. You wonder if the press is a way to manufacture some energy to a team that clearly needs it.
I think it definitely is. I mean, it's something we haven't seen that much from Fordham down the stretch in this A10 season. We saw it for that 7-8 minute stretch against Davidson where they were down big, forced some turnovers, caused some havoc in the backcourt, and next thing you knew, they were down 7 and had a chance if a couple plays go their way in that game to a really big comeback win, but it was the press that was the catalyst for that. The next game against George Mason, it was also a little bit of press in the first half, causing some havoc for George Mason in the backcourt, not able to get their offense going. But for the most part, we haven't seen the press. I mean, I feel like at this point, down by 19, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to make sure your guys at the half court, that's going to be Abdou Timbila and Romad Dean, probably just know where they need to be. That was the issue. I think that's where Fordham got dissuaded from going into the press. We saw versus Manhattan. They never knew when to sag back, and that really killed them versus that Jasper squad. So hopefully the Rams, if they do go into the press, they maintain that defensive execution that we know and love.
First half stats for the Fordham Rams, Jackie Johnson leads them with 8 points. For GW, it's Castro with 11 points and 4 rebounds. And even still, it feels like Castro has not taken over this game. He hasn't needed to. It's been team system offense.
And Buchanan, a guy who's his impact on offense the last couple games, really down the stretch here in the A10, it's been almost non-existent. He took 3 shots last time out against LaSalle. How about 8 points on 4 or 5 shooting, showing why he averaged 15 points per game, not just last year, but for most of this year before his role shifted to the bench.
GW ball to start the second half. Christian Jones curls his way down to the right block, kicks out for Hansen, right wing. GW 42, Fordham 23, a 19-point lead for the Revolutionaries. Foul line drive for Castro, cut off by Timbila, spinning around the pivot foot, kicks out, and it's all the way into the backcourt. And that is a turnover to start the second half, their first possession for GW. Give the ball over to the Rams.
And that's the play you love to see, starting the second half with a lot of momentum. Need to get the offense on that same level of execution now.
Same starting 5 that the Fordham Rams opened with, so Pettis back out for the second half alongside Medor, Riley, Dean, and Timbila. Pettis bounces straight on for Zach Riley. Swings left. Jaffe Medor. Medor double team. Tries left. Stuck in the corner. Needs an outlet. Bounces for Timbila deep left wing. Medor gets it back. Only 2 on the shot clock. Medor chucks up a left wing 3. It's short. Rebound pulled down by Castro. GW ball. No score chains yet. Opening 50 seconds of half number 2. Jones top of the key. Lobs it down low for Castro. Far short corner. Swung out to Buchanan. That's Drumgoole. Pulls the deep left wing 3. And it's batted back by Hansen. Second chance for GW after Drumgoole missed left. Johnson, left wing, posts up on Dean, enters the paint. Right hand hook falls, and a 21-point lead for GW, 44-23, opening minute and a half.
I don't think there was ever a threat of a spin back left there for Hansen, always going to that right hand, and still nothing Ramadi could do about it.
Riley back to Medor, drives left of the lane, wants a kick out, finds it. Riley over to Pettis, drives right, and can't lay it in, wanted the jam. Tambila gets it back, kicks corner for Dean. Dean caught in the far short corner, left wing three, Medor. Stuck on the left side, ball trickles out of bounds. Last touched. Appears by Ramon Dean, BGW ball. Maybe a little bit of pressure this time for Fordham.
And it's a solid press, great call. Nathan Rogers, great call, Nick Guzman. And I think that Pettis' age is really showing here.
Medor flying in, wants to rip the ball away from Hansen. Instead, he's called for the foul. That's the third foul already on Jaffe Medor.
And you don't like to see that. Usually he's the one drawing fouls all the time, but Fordham here in a 1-3-1 press, looking to put pressure on the pass rather than the ball.
Fordham's leading scorer, Jackie Johnson, will check in for Jaffe Medor. Medor did not take a seat last time out against St. Joe's, but forced to the bench here with 3 fouls early in the second half. Jones' feed to the corner. Jumped and knocked out of bounds by Pettis, staying here with GW. 17:56 second half, GW 44, Fordham 23. It's been all Revolutionaries so far. Hansen far short corner, posting up, enters the paint. Has it knocked away for a brief moment, now whistled dead. And this will be a foul in the paint on Ramadine.
Ooh, we got a good angle on that. I would say even a better angle than the referee there. It seemed like Ramon got a clean poke on that one.
Far side referee caught in the corner. Baseline inbound to Castro, goes cross court. Autry, his three, rolls out. Tambila, defensive rebound. GW was 2 of 7 from 3 in the first half. They missed their first of the second. Left hand floater from Johnson, gets it to fall, draws the foul. Early bucket by the A-10 second leading scorer, and if Fordham's going to crawl their way back into this game, you have to think it starts with Johnson.
Johnson and Medor, again, he's on the bench, but if we have no zero out there, then we need JJ3, the guy who's been unreal for the Fordham Rams, as you said, second leading scorer in the Atlantic 10, a great guy when you need a shot from beyond the arc or a layup off the glass.
Misses the free throw, cannot complete the three-point play. 44-25 Revolutionaries. Jones, his pass deflected by Johnson, stolen by Dean, spins inside and lays it in. Full court press turning into points.
Textbook, apply pressure on the ball, get the steal, and Ramadine the nice spin move inside to get the finish.
44-27 GW. Hansen kicks out, right wing three. Autry, the answer. Lead back out. A 20-point lead for the Revolutionaries, 47-27. First 3 minutes of half number 2.
And Jackie did not need to double there in the paint, swiping for the ball, trying to force momentum. You got to let the game come to you.
Especially not with Autry, the team leader in three-point percentage, up over 37% this season. Johnson straight on, swarmed here at the top of the key. Lob down low, goes off the backboard, and a turnover as it picked up by Autry of GW. Autry right wing, cross court for Christian Jones, corner three, air ball. Defensive rebound by Johnson. Johnson takes it right up the middle, speeding ahead, stops at the free throw line, and chopped the feet probably 5 times there. That is a clear-cut travel. Even the fans saw that one.
That is a rough sequence for Jackie Johnson, starting on the defensive end with that ill-advised double team, as you mentioned, Chaz. The travel on this end.
It seems like he's playing really headstrong. I think he might have taken that first game out as a starter a little too personally, rather than letting the chip on his shoulder and let the game do the talking for him. It seems like he's trying to force the game to come to him, and that is not how you tame the mistress that is basketball.
Hutchinson will cross half court as Fordham sags a little bit off in their full court press this time around. Hutchinson moving left, settles on the left wing. GW offense will get set up, top of the key for Castro, guarded by Zona. Castro drives inside, spins around, righty hook falls. A man that's third in the nation in field goal percentage, 67.7%. clean touch in the paint.
He's so long, it's so hard to defend when he fully extends those arms at 6'11".
Pettis drive and kick, near corner Rivera, his three goes! Josh Rivera from three-point land. 49-30 GW, 15:38 left in the game, and Pettis swarming in, wanted to knock that ball away, instead calling for the foul.
It's a tough one. That's exactly what you want to do with the press, breaking in and getting the pressure when the ball's in the hands of Castro in the backcourt. Maybe some contact with the body, but Pettis in a good spot there.
Yeah, I like that. I like to go for that steal. Again, if you're a guy like Ryan Pettis, you got to make the game come to you. But if you're a guy like Jackie Johnson, you got to let it flow through you naturally.
Rams still trailing by 19. 15 minutes left in this one. It's 49-30 GW. Fordham men's basketball on 90.7 FM WFUV.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Orlando, Chaz McAdams and Nick Guzman bringing you Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. Second to last game of the season for the Fordham Rams, looking to snap a 6-game losing streak. Not looking too hot right now. They trail by 19 with 15:37 left here in this one. It's 49-30 at GW. A GW offense that really has not been vaunted this year. 73.2 points per game. That's in the bottom half of the A10. But getting it done today, they're led by Castro, but it has been a system effort. Fantastic ball movement. They've made it look smooth. They've made it look easy.
These guys are greater than the sum of their parts. Again, all you hear, all the talk you hear from their staff and their head coach is that it's a system. It's the system that works. They recruit guys to fit in that system, play their role, know their role, and play it the right way, and they've been doing it so far. They're on pace for 80+.
What's interesting is that they've been more praised, especially head coach Chris Caputo, for his defensive system and getting a group of players that were not necessarily known singularly as defensive talents to play great team defense. Offensively, again, this is a GW team that has been on and off this year, has not found consistent success. Today they have against a Fordham defense that ranks dead last in the A10.
And defense is where it starts. I mean, what do all the teams who are really good in the Atlantic 10, what do they have in common? They're great on defense.
Fordham pressuring off of the break. Johnson and Rivera in the backcourt. Wild pass intercepted by Tripp. 3-on-1. Tripp jives. Then a crazy acrobatic layoff baked in. 40.
The press working exactly what it's supposed to. Forcing the extra pass cross court, making it sloppy.
49-32. And now a turnover by Darren Buchanan, who throws it wildly out of bounds. Back-to-back turnovers forced by this Fordham press. They trail by 19 with 15-14 left in half number 2. Riley swung left for Rivera. Rivera's pass knocked away by Castro in transition. Hangs, no good. Rebound, Autry puts it back up and in. Second chance points for GW, lead back out to 19. Johnson up top. Momentum gained by this Fordham full court press. Interrupted briefly by that turnover forced by Castro. Right ring 3 by Rivera, leaves it short. Rebound initially secured by Buchanan. Zona knocks it away, puts it up and draws the foul. And one by the graduate student forward.
First, you love the hustle from Josh Rivera, leaving that three short but not giving up on the play, following up his rebound, able to find Matt Zona underneath. And you love to see that for Matt, finishing strong at the rim for his first points of the night.
And Coach Keith Ergo, we talked about the junk defenses. Mark Schmidt, earlier in the season, the St. Bonaventure Bonnies, said it was Ergo's biggest weapon, those 10 or 11 defenses that he can just go out and throw at you. It's about knowing when to use them. That 3-2 that they run, while it does get broken up, you gotta push it in and then pull it out as soon as it's not working, as soon as it gets broken up. It's the same thing with the full court press.
Zona raises the rim on the free throw, and for a second time today, Fordham will come up empty on a chance to complete the three-point play. 51-34 GW, 14:25 second half. Hutchinson moves left, pass straight on Hansen, picks up the dribble, gives it back to Hutchinson left wing. Riley switches on. Hutchinson dribbling right, off the Hansen screen, 7 on the shot clock. Hutchinson dribbles between the legs, still delays, corner feed for Autry. Shovels to Jones at the buzzer, no good, bounces out. And Zona last touch on that loose ball rebound. GW get another chance here with the shot clock resetting.
You like forcing that shot out of Jones in the corner. He shoots that shot decently, but Fordham able to keep that pressure up to force a shot at the end of the shot clock. Just can't grab the offensive board.
Hutchinson, feed to the corner. It's Jones, drives baseline, spins and kicks out Autry. Near corner feed for Hansen. Shovels back for Autry, left wing three off dribble. Airballs the three, but draws the foul.
Landing space, you gotta leave landing space there on a catch and shoot, especially when he's not fading away. That's key.
That'll be Zach Riley, second foul of the game. And it sends Autry, GW's best free throw shooter, at 82.2% to the line. Boys are tough, especially in that sequence. Pretty tough, man.
Autry's one of those guys that came into the lineup 2 games into conference play, came into the starting lineup, that is. He was already in the rotation, but his role has just gotten bigger and bigger as this season has gone on. GW were 11-2 in non-conference play, but still they made those 3 lineup changes early on in conference play and have decided that having Autry, Jones, and Hansen in the starting lineup is the best way for the Revolutionaries to work.
And it's been really a middle-of-the-road conference schedule for GW. As Autry makes all 3 free throws. And since February 5th, they have not won or lost 2 consecutive games, so they've been really the definition of middle of the pack.
Parity.
Parity in the A10, that's what it's all about, baby. 54-34 GW, lead back out to 20. Medora, bounce pass straight on Zona. Zona gives it back to Medora, right wing, dribbles left, sends it across and out of the reach of Jackie Johnson, out of bounds, and it falls into the hands of Keith Ergo, who exasperately picks up that basketball and jams it against his head.
And mentally, it just seems people are in other places.
Buchanan, bounce feed left wing, no look feed behind the back to Hutchinson, left wing 3. Oh, that was a smooth feed from Hansen, and GW having some fun, up 23, 57-34. Johnson, left wing 3, answers from 5 feet behind the three-point line, and it's still a 20-point game, 57-37, 13-10 left in this one. Buchanan bounce ahead, drive by Trey Moss, kicks out to the left wing, and sends over to Buchanan on the right wing. It's Hutchinson up top. Back to Buchanan, steps inside, bounce pass off the ankle of Matt Zona, kick ball violation.
Sometimes you need those there. Just stop the play dead in its tracks.
A lot of distance on that kickball from Matt Zona.
I mean,
it came all the way back to us.
They're hanging back on Buchanan and really letting him attack because he's not a shooter, and it's worked so far.
Yes, but you got to meet him somewhere.
You got to meet him halfway.
Yeah,
I agree,
exactly.
Chaz. They're shooting a little too deep. You can't let him get ahead of steam.
You got to stay under the basket. You can't go all the way back to weak side because Buchanan has such a quick first step that he will jam one on you.
Castro on the right wing. He's double teamed. Picks up the dribble. Bounce pass paint for Hansen. Rips through. Banks it off glass on the right side. Sean Hansen just so reliable. When Coach Ergo was talking about him, said he's the heart and soul of GW.
He's a textbook glue guy, Sean Hansen.
59-37. Deep right wing from Johnson. This time no good. Castro pulls down the rebound with 12:30 left to go. Hutchinson on the left side. Meanders over top of the key. Fordham still in man in this second half. Bounce pass is loose and pried away by Rivera. Long feed ahead to Johnson in the near corner. Johnson drives baseline. Left-hand float off glass and in. Lead cut down to 20, 59-39. 12:07 second half. Full court press in effect. Knocked away by Tripp. But out of balance when he touched it. I will say this. We talked about Fordham going for the full court press. It has not necessarily cut down this lead, but there's certainly more energy.
A little more chaos in the backcourt, but I feel like for every deflection or every turnover they force, GW has been able to break it almost an equal amount.
Yeah, it's again, you want to talk about wins and losses, the mini ones you get in every game.
Hutchinson was trapped in the corner, able to get it out over the middle of the Hanson. GW in the front court. There's the drive from Moss underneath the basket. Pushed out of bounds. Draw the foul when we come back. 11:53 second half. It's a 20-point lead for GW, 59-39. And again, let's hear from Nathan Rogers in the Rose Hill Studios.
It's 90.7 FM, WFUV, New York. The next segue you'll hear is from music to sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
On the ice tonight, the Capitals travel to MSG to visit a Rangers team looking to sneak their way into a playoff spot. The score is knotted up at 1 in the first period. Also, the Senators face the Blackhawks. The score there is tied 2-2 in the first period. Transitioning back to the A10 hardwood, George Mason, ranking 21st in defensive efficiency in the country, continue their dominance as they retake the lead against LaSalle. The score there is now 47-44 with 10 minutes left. UMass is still battling a strong Bonnie's team. The score is knotted up at 55 with 11 minutes left. St. John's is pulling away strong at home against URI, leading by 15 with the second half just underway. Back to national top 25 scores, Maryland is in a thriller with the Michigan Wolverines. The score there is 69-65 with just 16 seconds to go. With under 14 minutes to go, the Florida Gators trail the Alabama Crimson Tide by 3. And over in Boston, BC is within 10 against 11th-ranked Clemson with just 13 minutes left in the second half. Also, 2 more top 25 games have started and are both under 11 minutes left in the first half. Boulder faces a 9th-ranked Texas Tech team, and they are leading by 6. And 15th-ranked Missouri travels to Oklahoma and are tied at 20. With the one-on-one scoreboard, it's Nathan Rogers.
Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams, Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. As it stands right now, 11:53 left to go in this one. GW a 59-39 loss. Let me flash you back to last year. The last time these two schools faced off, January 3rd, 2024, a 3-overtime thriller that ends 119-113 in favor of the Rams. That was in D.C. I don't think we're getting triple overtime right now. If we do, it would be an impressive comeback by the Rams, who are trying to avoid a 20-point loss. Haven't lost a game by more than 20 points since St. Bonaventure's second game in conference play.
Unfortunately, I think they might be on their way towards that tonight. 11:53 to go in the second half, down by 20. It hasn't. I feel like most of the time that we've watched this Fordham team this year, Chaz, there's been a really high compete level no matter what. And I think there's been compete level from some guys for parts of this game, but I think for large stretches it's looked rough. It's looked like players are disinterested. It's looked a little bit like just a rough product for your final home game at the Rose Hill Gym. For some of these players, the final game they'll ever play inside these walls. And I think you've maybe just anticipated it going a little bit differently than this.
Fordham has found every way to lose the game. That loss on senior night was deflating. So it's expected to see some people.
Baseline inbound, going for the lob for Castro. Couldn't handle. Ball was loose underneath the basket. And it's Fordham that knocked it loose and out of bounds. So staying here with GW almost had a highlight on our hands, alley-oop off of the inbound.
I know, and I was yapping about Davidson on last Saturday. It's just there has to be some continuity on this Fordham Rams team from top to bottom, because we know Coach Keith Urgo cares. You cut him open, he bleeds maroon. He's got to say the same for his players.
Castro posting up on the left block, guarded by Timbilla. Kicks out Moss, left wing three, well contested off left iron. Ball is swatted into the far corner. Pettis retrieves and steps out of bounds.
It's just a really inexperienced play from Ryan Pettis. That would have been Fordham basketball if the ball went out of bounds.
And an unforced error at that, Nick.
There's no need to chase that ball down.
And now, watch for the mental fortitude of Ryan Pettis here. Make a mistake like that, especially as a young player with a new opportunity, could be due for a bigger one.
Jones on the right wing off of the far sideline inbound. A second chance here for GW after the Pettis turnover. Jones drives inside, muscles his way in, and banks it in off glass. 61-39. GW ahead, 11:15 left to go. Johnson moves left, passes right to Tripp. Tripp splits two defenders, drives inside, and loses the ball at the base of the rim. Ball trickles out of bounds, will stay here with Fordham.
Just never
they'll say GW ball.
He just never had control on that drive.
No, every dribble he took on that drive was full arm extensions diving towards the ball.
It's impressive. There was 3 or 4 dribbles in there. He managed to keep it for that long.
Bounce pass into Jones. Fordham some chaotic pressure here in the front court. Pettis and Jones all up in his mug, and that's going to force the timeout by Chris Caputo. I mean, actually, it was Christian Jones that called the timeout himself as he was double-teamed in that corner in front of the Fordham bench. So, if nothing else, the Fordham press is causing a little chaos.
And that's all you can hope for at this point. Cause some mental mistakes on the part of the Revolutionaries and just make some momentum go in your favor. Maybe you can't get back in this game all the way, but make the score closer than it is right now.
It's 10:59 left in half number 2. GW ahead 61-39. Well, I mean, very clearly this game matters to them, and this game matters to a lot of the teams that are in the will they, won't they zone of the A10 standings. Well, the bottom 6 teams have to play on day 1, so that's 10 through 15. 5 through 9 get a bye. 1 through 4 get the double bye. With a win yesterday, Dayton really improved their chances of getting the double bye, which I think a little bit surprising when you consider how their conference play started. That loss to UMass. People have not always been super high on Dayton. It's looking more and more likely like they're going to get the double bye.
I think there's been no doubt about the talent on that Dayton team. Just there's been some, upset fans with how head coach Anthony Grant has handled that program and handled his rotations recently. But I think for Dayton, the talent has always been there. I think it's no surprise they're going to finish in a double bye spot.
Yeah, I mean, my least favorite fans in America, for being totally honest. Those guys, we know. They know how to get under their opponent's skin, and I've been on the receiving end of some of the Flyer faithful, and it's not a pretty sight to see at the Barclays Center 2 years ago. Fordham versus Dayton, Fordham's peak season. There's just so much to say about that Dayton program. Anthony Grant, a fantastic coach in our league. That's a program. You got Nate Santos, you got Malachi Smith. Those guys got a lot of talent. I mean, that's a team that beat defending champion the Yukon Huskies. Don't forget, in that Maui tournament. So they are, again, shockingly, I guess, a dark horse to win the A10 tournament, you can say.
And you look at that top 4, Loyola Chicago and St. Joe's at 10-6 vying for that final double bye. GW's in a mix of teams that are more middle of the pack and have been mirrored with inconsistency, shown flashes, but just haven't been able to put it together. At the 7th seed right now, it's Duquesne at 8-9, GW at 8-9 as well. Now, Duquesne won the season series there, so GW would need to finish with a better record than them to finish at 7th, but theoretically they can if they win today and Duquesne loses out. You have Bonaventure and UMass at 7-9. They're both trying to claw their way into that bye range as well. Right now, Bonaventure would clear it and UMass would not, so a lot of urgency here for GW in terms of you want that bye. You don't want to play Wednesday.
Lou Orlando, professor of bracketology.
Trying my best.
Here on 90.7 WFUV Sports.
Trying to keep the people informed. That's our job, man.
Journalism, capital J.
Capital J, baby. That's what it's all about. Excited for the A10 tournament, man. That's next week.
Oh my gosh.
Baseline inbound for GW. Baseball pass all the way to Castro. Slams it down, but called for a travel beforehand. And Castro laughing on the way back. Fordham the full court press. Castro sneaks behind everyone. And it's Castro's travel that saves Fordham from a little bit of embarrassment. But you know what? I think they should be embarrassed no matter what.
I think you almost never see a whistle in that situation. I feel like a lot of the times refs on a fast break will just let it go.
No, that was so obvious.
That was obvious, though.
Pettis takes it across half court. Bounce straight on Timbila. Hands off Johnson, moving left. Left wing, pulls up for two. Well short. Rebound by Autry. GW ball. It's Fordham offense, just 39 points with 10 minutes left to go. It's been a tough showing. Johnson leads the way with 15, but on 6 of 13 shooting. Jones, top of the key. 10:30 to play. Jones and Autry play clash at the top of the key. Jones, dribble drive, inside, stops to the left block. Lefty hook, no good. Rebound fought for, secured by Castro. And at the buzzer of the shot clock, he's going to draw a foul, trying to rip that one up and put it up. A couple Fordham hands in the way.
That stings because I don't think he would have gotten the shot up in time.
No, absolutely not. Had no chance.
Either way.
There was no way that shot was going up. You got to have more court awareness. You have to. You got to know where the shot clock's at.
As Castro goes to the line for two, well, he's been there a lot.
You don't want to look too far ahead at the brackets move, but if GW were to get that 7 seed, they'd play the winner of the 10 seed versus 15 seed game, which more than likely is going to be the Fordham Rams. Obviously, you'd have to beat the 10 seed first to get there, but there's a world where this is not the last we see of the Revolutionaries.
Fordham has won the last 3 games in this matchup, including that triple overtime thriller. Castro's second from the line. Good as well. 63-39 GW, a 24-point lead. That's Fordham looking a little flat right now, trailing by 24 in their home finale. Riley straight on, hands off Medor, dribbling right. Bounce pass inside for Timbila on the pick and roll, slams it down. Full court press after the jam, 63-41, under 10 minutes. Great bounce feed, but blocked by Timbila. Medor rising up as well. Oh, it was a great feed by Hutchinson. Autry trying to put it up. And 2 Fordham heads going down there to chase that one back.
That is an unreal pass from Jacoy Hutchinson, threading the needle. Had a lot of distance to cover on that one, but a beautiful, beautiful feed.
And with his left hand, too. Offhand outside, because you saw Zach Riley running with him so far. That push pass.
Bounce pass, right wing. Drumgoole sits in the far corner. Drives baseline on Medor. Rising up is Timbila to block it all the way down. And sends it into the GW bench. They never had a chance on that shot the way Abdu got up.
That was an angry block from Abdu Timbila. We have not seen enough of that this year. He can be such a good help defender when he's positioned in the right spots.
2 blocks on the night so far for Timbila, hoping for more. Fordham wants to get back into it.
Hutchinson driving baseline, got the step on Timbila. Paint feed, this is Castro on down low, and draws the foul with a good up fake.
Just hands back and plant your feet. The block chasing out of Dean and Timbila has kept this Revolutionaries team as far as they want in the paint. They get whatever they want. They get whatever they want.
Castro's so smart down there. He knows how to draw contact in those areas.
He's such a smart player, and his size. You've never seen a guy like that. He's 6'11", and his arms go down to his knees.
Literally, they go down to his knees. That's
what is happening?
First free throw is good as Castro adds to what's been a very solid day. He's got 16 points, 8 rebounds, 12 double-doubles, leads the A10. He's shaping up to have 13 when this one's all said and done. Second free throw on the way, this time no good. Timbila rises up, pulls down the rebound with a smack of the ball. 64-41, GW ahead. 9:23 second half. Riley dribbling left, swings it left for Medor, left wing. Hand off Johnson. Johnson drives inside, splits defenders, the floater's too strong, and the rebound by Hutchinson.
Dean going for the tip on that one, just mistimes his jump.
Hutchinson at center court. Swivels and sends it straight on for Castro. Pass right wing for Hutchinson. Castro sets the screen right. Hutchinson caught in the corner, double team. Castro right elbow extended, cross court for Buchanan. Plays catch with Autry, left wing three. Autry no good. Rebound, loose ball, secured by Johnson. Fordham ball.
Buchanan does not want that ball in a shooting spot in the corner. Hot potato.
Johnson hesitates left wing. His bounce pass intercepted by Hutchinson. Running the court, taking it coast to coast. Stopped at the rim by Dean. The rebound, though, by Drumgoole, who puts it back up and in.
And I think they're calling foul there. No basket.
At Drumgoole.
Players look upset. But I just want to point out two stats really quick for the broadcast. 37 rebounds to 23 in favor of the Revolutionaries. And then 21 free throw attempts to the Rams 5. The GW has attempted as many free throws as the Rams have attempted threes.
Pennis across half court. Chaz, that's not good.
No.
Cross half court, Zona right elbow. GW 66, Fordham 41. Left wing three from Riley on the way and no good. Misses off right iron. Another cold stretch here for this Fordham Ram offense. Hutchinson delays up top, saunters left. Guarded by Zona, pulls the left wing three. It's good, nothing but net. GW continues to add 69-41. This one's getting out of hand with 7:54 to play. Dean hand up top to Pettis. Over to Zona right wing, near corner. Medor drives baseline, muscles in, banks off glass.
Over a tall defender in Sean Hansen. The shot fake from Jermaine Medor gets him just enough space.
69-43, GW breaks the press. To the corner for Drumgoole, fakes and pulls the three yet again, yes! Back-to-back threes from GW. The book on them is that they don't shoot it well. They've shot pretty well today.
This entire GW team is in what we like to call flow state right now.
Yes. Zona with the ball up top. Good feed for Riley on the left wing cut. Banks it in wide open. 72-45, Fordham trails in the final 7 minutes. Cross-court pass, handled by Buchanan. Still in the backcourt here, now they cross. GW a 27-point lead, putting the work on Fordham. Hutchinson steps up for a right wing three, buries again!
I thought they didn't shoot the three well, guys. That's in my notes.
That's in
My
my
goodness,
notes, too.
letting it rain, three straight from deep. Medor near short corner. His pass intercepted by Buchanan. GW to run again. Buchanan loses it. Riley knocks it away. Loose ball, fought for. Looks like Buchanan sitting on it with Dean, or with Matt Zona, excuse me. And that will be a foul they call.
No, jump ball. Gotta be jump.
Officially a jump ball. That'll be GW ball at a break.
GW 26% three-point shooting team on the season, 41.2 as a team so far today.
I think I'm going crazy here, Chaz.
What is happening? This is madness.
It's a 30-point lead for the Revolutionaries, 75-45, final 6:27. Back in a moment.
On one scoreboard.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the five boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
Well, GW, their final game of the 2024-25 regular season, and they're making sure to end it on a very high note, up 30 on the Fordham Rams with 6:27 left to play. And surprisingly, it's been the three ball that's gotten the Revolutionaries going. Came into the game shooting 31.1% from deep. That's 13th in the conference. Right now shooting over 41% from beyond the arc. They've buried 3 straight thanks to 2 from Hutchinson, who's up to 9 on the day. Nick, you said it, they're in a flow state.
Yeah, some of them have been open looks that Fordham could defend better. Others are just insane shot making that I think a lot of people probably didn't realize this GW team had the ability to hit some of these looks from the outside.
In the words of their very own head coach, Chris Caputo, we haven't had the offensive firepower to win games consistently, to blow out teams, but they're faring pretty well right now.
I would say so. Orlando. There's no way that I just saw Trom Gould, a guy that I've seen brick wide open corner threes, hit an up fake sidestep with 2 of the best Fordham defenders in his face. What is happening? Madness!
This is March.
At the Rose Hill Gym. Yeah, no, this is
March.
Fordham. This is
not
Fordham.
postseason basketball, but it is March.
It is the month of March. This GW team, though, yes, Fordham have played pretty terribly in this game, guys. Objectively, it's been pretty terrible. Still some elite shot making from GW. It's been an impressive display from them, and I think they know this is their regular season finale. You wanted to go out on a high note, try to secure that 7 seed, and they've done pretty much everything right out here today at the Rose Hill Gym.
They're 50-40 right now.
A win will not secure a bye, but it does a lot to help them get there as they would improve to 9-9 in conference. They got Bonaventure and UMass at 7-9 on their tail as well. Johnson left wing. A lot of dribbling, picks up the dribble, swings it right. There's Pettis on the near side. Jab and drive into the lane. Hangs, dishes down low for Zona, banked in. 75-47. 28-point lead GW, 6 minutes left. And Fordham still will press here, trailing by 28. Bounce pass far side to Moss. Moss is double teamed, gets it out ahead to Hutchinson. Into the corner. This is Nissa, back to Hutchinson, who sank 2 threes in their last 3 possessions. Moss straight on, splits a pair of defenders and loses the ball. Stolen by Zona, but whistles and a foul. We'll see which way this is going. It's a George Washington foul. Just their 3rd of the half.
Yeah, so something Keith Urgo was upset about in the second half of the St. Joe's game, too, where St. Joe's had pretty much 1 foul against, and there were 7 minutes left in the game.
Johnson right wing, pulls from 3, this time no good, it rolls out. Jackie Johnson now 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, a team-high 15 points as he comes off the bench for the first time this season. Fordham facing the prospect of dropping their 7th straight game as they trail 75-47, a 28-point haul in the final 5 minutes. Hutchinson delays off top, swings right wing. Ball initially lost by Bevins, gets it back, enters and bounces down low. Buchanan fading away from the short corner. Easy money.
It's a luxury to have a guy like Buchanan off your bench, and a luxury to have him on your bench and not really use him that much.
He took 3 shots last game.
Buchanan 10 points. Square on for Zona. His 3 no good. Buchanan only averaging 6 off the bench after averaging 15 in his first 14 games started. He's fared pretty well today offensively. Hutchinson at the top of the key, 4.5 to go. It's a 77-47 game. GW up by 30 in Fordham's last home game of the regular season. Buchanan bounce inside for Nissa, takes contact and banked in over on the left side.
Passing from the Revolutionaries is unreal right now. They're always in the pocket. They're getting through these Fordham defenders.
GW up 32. Johnson splits a pair of defenders, draws the reach-in foul.
I mean, those baseline cuts, Chaz, are they're awesome.
It's Fordham
really unaware of what's going on behind them, but it's just really good, fundamental offensive basketball.
I mean, the short, quick passes, there's not a lot of long passes. There's not a lot of cross court, slot to corner. It's just quick, one-to-one passes that are making this game excellent for the Revolutionaries.
Tabila drives baseline, misses, gets his own miss and lays it in. Abdou Tabila, 8 points on the night. Still a 30-point deficit in the final 4 minutes of play. Pass left side for Bevins. Underhand pass. Slips through the fingers of Hutchinson. Stolen by Timbila. Johnson on the left wing. Fordham ball here trailing by 30. Jaya drives and left-hand floater rolls in. 79-51 is the GW lead at the under 4 media timeout. 3:36 to play, and one last time, let's give it over to Nathan Rogers with the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Providing some updates on the NBA. Over in Boston, the Celtics are dominating the Trailblazers by 20 at the end of the third quarter. The Cavs are also fighting back and forth with the Miami Heat. The score there is 72-71 in the third quarter. Also, the Bucks have tipped off against a Mavericks team now playing without Kyrie Irving. Bucks are up by 11 with 6 minutes until halftime. From the A10 conference over at George Mason, the LaSalle Explorers are chipping away against the Patriots. Score is 63-58. George Mason with less than 3 minutes to go. UMass is in a major fight against the Bonnies. Score is 71-69. Bonnies with 2 minutes left. Also, Rhode Island is clawing back against the St. Joseph Hawks. The score is 70-59. Hawks with 7 minutes left to go. A reminder to also set your alarms for an 11 a.m. tip-off for Fordham women's basketball at the A10 tourney tomorrow. With the one-on-one scoreboard, it's Nathan Rogers.
Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, Chaz McAdams. 3:36 left to go in this game, but essentially it is all but over. GW 79, Fordham 51, a 28-point lead. GW going to finish their season 9-9 in A10, and barring anything crazy from Bonaventure or UMass, GW should get the day one bye in the A10 tournament. They have not won a game in the A10 tournament for 3 straight appearances. Their last win came in 2021 against the Fordham Rams. That was in the Wittenberg era. So GW trying to turn the ship around. It's Chris Caputo in his 3rd season, and I tell you what, if they play like this, they're not going to have a problem.
I mean, considering this team was 4-14 in the A10 last year, they played a ton of freshmen. They had their injury problems too. This turnaround job by Chris Caputo, bringing in those older players, it's been on display in this game, 79-51 GW. And why not this year for their first A10 win?
And it came close last year. They lost by 1 to the 10 seed LaSalle. They were the bottom seed. Previous 2 seasons, they had made it to round 2 as a day 1 bye and a 7 seed, but lost outright both times, did not get a win. Press out a break. Bevins takes it up, long feed ahead to Moss, darts into the lane, hangs and draws the foul.
I feel like we might be past the point of the game where we need to press still.
28-point hole.
It's a Keith Urgo team. You gotta realize, it's not over till the fat lady sings.
The question that probably has to be asked at some point in today's broadcast, this is the last game for St. Joe's. For Fordham, you got another game. You got to go on a road and play Rhode Island, a team you beat here at home on a last-second shot from Zona. What's that game going to look like?
It's going to be a tough task. I mean, the energy in this game it's kind of felt like, okay, this is the last game. The season ends after today. No, we still have to go to Rhode Island this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and then we have the A10 tournament next week. The season is not over. There is still stuff to play for.
And that, I hate to say it, but it feels like that's the mentality.
The free throw missed at the line, and a second chance from Nissa, no good. So Fordham gets the ball back. Nissa missed both free throws.
Chick-fil-A.
Johnson drives, left hand float, rattles in. Make it 19 for Jackie Johnson on the night. It's 79-53, 3:10 to go.
Those 7 turnovers on the stat sheet next to Johnson's name stick out like a sore thumb.
That's a season high, 7 turnovers. Long feed ahead to Moss, blocked by Timbilla, who got back. I think they got him for the foul.
Yeah.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. I mean,
say what's on your mind.
There is review. I don't mind that. I think he got him at the peak of his shot. I think he did foul him. I heard some skin-to-skin contact there. But I don't hate that from Timbilla. You're not going to let these guys just walk all over you. I mean, I don't want to say too little, too late, but again, you got to play to the whistle.
Wait, so here's the problem. We had talked about at halftime going to the full court press and drawing some energy. It had worked against Davidson. Now that's a game they ended up losing by 10 points. But at one point they had cut that margin to 4. They had been crushed in the first half, and the full court press completely turned the game around. I think, Nick, you had a great point that, well, it created some chaos, it created some energy, but it was nothing consistent. And Fordham still turned the ball over, and GW was still able to get points and go on runs. So Fordham really never cut into this lead in a meaningful way, and in fact, it was GW that went on a run to put this way out of reach.
The press was just a different-looking way to get some stops in this second half. That's pretty much the purpose that it served. I mean, GW broke it so many times.
Keying in on stops, what's the one thing that Keith Urgo talked about wanting to see going into A10s? And when we talked, I almost said, hey, throw away the wins and the losses. You're either going to be a 14 seed or a 15 seed. What do you want to see on the court that makes you confident going into A10s? And he said, it's all defense. I want to see us string together stops. That's definitely not happened today.
We've been talking about it all season, is how the defensive intensity needs to be better, the defense in general needs to be better, and now here we are on almost on the eve of the end of the season, and we're still talking about it, which is incredibly frustrating.
I mean, yeah, you got to play your best basketball now. And it seems like the Fordham Rams have regressed, and I think that's just because of strength of opponent. They won those last 5 games of conference play, and it had nothing to do with their defense. It was all offense all the way.
Moss makes both free throws. It's an 81-53 GW lead. And if you think back to the post-game pressers, Chaz, after every one of those wins to end non-conference play, Coach Urgo said, we're not playing good enough defense. It's not going to play in the A10. It seems as if he was right. Timbila drives down to the short corner, draws the foul on Darren Buchanan. For GW and Darren Buchanan, if this is something he can carry into the A10 tournament, 10 points and 5 of 6 shooting. Remember, this is a guy that averaged 15 last year as a freshman. What a boost that would be for them.
I just don't understand you can have a guy.
Quick feed into Timbila in the paint, makes it on the right block.
How you can have a guy like that on your bench and play a game against LaSalle last time and only have him shoot the ball 3 times. He is a force coming off your bench, and I feel like GW, if they want to make a run this year in the tournament, have to figure out a way to make Buchanan a bigger part of this offense just because of how talented he is. He's a real asset for you coming off your bench as your 6th man.
He was the offense. It was him, James Bishop, and Garrett Johnson that really led the team last year. Good ball movement by GW, up 81-55, final 2:15. I mean, if you think back to that triple overtime game against Fordham, a game that they lost, Buchanan had 38. Levin open 3 from the near side, no good. High bounce off the rim, the rebound by Timbila. Johnson takes it up far side, puts it between the legs on the left wing, takes the step back 3, and airballs. Dean tries to save it, but it'll be GW ball. And I think that's going to do it for Jackie Johnson today. As a couple handshakes with Jackie Johnson. Yep, looks like Medor going to come in to spell Jackie.
It's pretty much, I think this game has been a pretty good microcosm of Jackie Johnson's season. He's scored 19 points. He's been scoring all year long, but it hasn't been particularly efficient. It hasn't been that efficient from deep, and the turnovers still a problem. 7 for him tonight, which is too many and a season high.
GW up 81-55. Hutchinson content to dribble the ball out here. And in the final 90 seconds, are we at the point where GW is not going to take any more shots with 90 seconds to go?
They'll put it up.
Offense moves, and they turn the ball over with a bounce feed into the paint. That steal will get credited to Matt Zona. Riley takes it up to the right wing, across to Medor, bounce into the corner. Whistles and a foul off ball. And the crowd's going to get on his feet because the walk-on Brian Nussbaum, his 3rd season with the Rams, got in for senior day and going to get in here for the final minute and 21 seconds.
We need a shot here.
Looking for his first career basket.
This is going to turn the season around. It's a play for Brian, I believe.
Well, Nussbaum will take up shop on the right block. And Chaz's cousin, quite literally, Jamison O'Toole, will come in and check out Matt Zona. So Fordham digging into their bench here in the final home game of the regular season.
I love walk-ons. I love it.
Oh, and Max, too. This is going to make me cry.
Max Miller, the freshman walk-on, subs out Zach Riley. So 3 walk-ons on the floor right now.
Minute 21, too. That's a lot of game.
A big hug for Zach Riley, who's probably just played his last game in the Rose Hill Gym. Spent 4 years here with the program. Trigger man is Max Miller, the freshman. Sends it out to Nussbaum, top of the key, into the hands of Ryan Pettis. Pettis straight on, dribbles right, sends it back for Nussbaum. Step back, right wing 3. He got it! It rattles in. First points for the walk-on.
Let's go, Brian.
The Jubin missile has arrived in the Rose Hill Gym. Brian Nussbaum out of Northern New York. This is your moment.
Hutchinson will control at the top of the key. 81-58 as GW continues to blow the doors off of the Rams. Pettis knocks the ball away. Fordham and head coach Keith Ergo using this opportunity to get some walk-ons, some play, and Nussbaum will check out to an ovation as he nails a three in what could very well be his final game as a Fordham Ram. Step back three from number 14, Keegan Harvey, no good. Final 35 seconds, GW up 81-58. Swing to Max Miller, right wing three, it's off right iron. Max Miller, I believe, looking for his first points as a Fordham Ram as well. Shot clock is off. GW will let it run all the way down. Final score, 81-58 GW, as they'll end their season a 500 team in conference, 9-9. For the Fordham Rams, 7 straight losses. And they will close out their season in Rhode Island on Wednesday, as they'll try and end the season on a high note, but they end their final game in the Rose Hill Gym anything but a high note. It's a big blowout against the Revolutionaries.
That was deflating. I think there's no other way to put it. I think the first time my heart really started racing and getting excited into this game was when Brian Nussbaum just nailed that three-pointer right at the end. Yeah. But I think right from the beginning, the performance just wasn't there for the Rams from the get-go.
Yeah, it wasn't there for the Rams, and I think they just came out so flat offensively. Again, I talked about it. GW had such a great scout. GW had such a great scout on those dribble handoffs on the perimeter. They were jamming them up all day. The foul count wasn't in the Rams' favor, and I think GW again just played better basketball. And at the end of the day, that is what is going to win you games. You can have all the heart, you can have all the attitude, but at the end of the day, if your X's and O's aren't there, you are not going to win very many games.
Well, I think back, Chaz, to a quote that head coach Keith Ergo said when he came up against this GW team, and he said, if Fordham doesn't come out fast and physical, we're going to get pounded. And that was the case today. Fordham did not come out with the energy. They made adjustments to their starting lineup. They got a freshman in the starting five. And whatever Coach Ergo has tried, it really hasn't seemed to work, and that was one of the more disappointing efforts by the Rams this season.
And it's disappointing because at least when, Fordham have scored 47 points and a half or whatever against St. Joe's, against Dayton, the offense has been there, it's been exciting, and it's been back and forth. Tonight against GW, right from the beginning, GW knew Fordham's offensive system. They knew it was going to be on the perimeter a lot early in the shot clock, a lot of dribble handoffs up high. And they blew them up. They blew up all those plays on the perimeter and forced those turnovers and made life really difficult for Fordham right from the get-go. So I think Keith Ergo's definitely had some foresight as to how Fordham needed to come out in this game. Unfortunately, they just didn't do it. And in the words of Coach Ergo, they got pounded.
Yeah, you can't play from that far down. Again, Fordham, you talked about 9 turnovers in the first half of the first half. They only end with, or they end with a lot, but again, the points off the turnovers, GW having 18, that can't work. 38 paint points. They were just going at will down there. And again, just recipes for success as far as the Rams. It just wasn't their day.
Jackie Johnson ends with 19 points off the bench to lead the Rams, 10 points for Abdou Timbila. For GW, it was a team effort led by Rafael Castro with 16 points and 8 rebounds as they put a shellacking on the Fordham Rams. LaSalle lost today against George Mason, so Fordham still has a chance to get the 14 seed. It's not in their control. They need a LaSalle loss and a win on Wednesday at Rhode Island. But we wrap things up here. It's the final game at the Rose Hill Gym this season, a gym that celebrates 100 years of history. Well, so far, hasn't been a ton of positive history this season. Fordham looking for an improbable turnaround when the tournament rolls around next week. Would like to plug, tomorrow at 11 a.m., Fordham women's basketball starts their journey to win an A-10 championship. Round 2 of the A-10 tournament, the number 8-seeded Fordham Rams playing the number 9-seeded Duquesne. Fordham women swept Duquesne earlier this season, and they're looking to make a run and win their 3rd title since 2014. For Fordham men's, they close out the season on Wednesday. The tournament starts next week. GW 20-11 on the season, 9-9 in conference play, looking like they'll get a day one bye for Fordham. They fall to 11-19, 3-14 in conference with their 7th straight loss. A disappointing one at that, 81-58, as Fordham held under 60 points for just the second time this season. For our three-man booth, Chaz McAdams, Nick Guzman, I'm Lou Orlando. Back to the Rose Hill Studios. Owen Kelty, Nathan Rogers. Take it away, fellas.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one post-game report. Once again, I'm Owen Kelty, joined by Nathan Rogers. This is now 7 losses in a row as Fordham loses 81-58 to GW to fall to 3-14 in the A10 conference. And no matter which way you put it, this game was terrible. Fordham loses by 23, but in the end, we do get a Brian Nesbaum 3, a step-back 3. He's a walk-on. Everybody loves to see it in his last game at the Rose Hill Gym. There's not many positives to take away, but I think that's the biggest positive, and if that's the only thing we should look at from this game.
And what a call by Chaz McAdams on the color call there. Great to see those guys get a good chunk of game at the end, a minute 21 checking in. Really great to see the spirit kind of shine there. As you said, very disappointing loss for Fordham. It's their 7th straight loss. Also, it's their 10th straight game allowing 70-plus points. Very lackluster from both sides of the ball and of the court. Obviously, the broadcasters at the game were talking about how Ergo has been banging the drum for defense. It just was not there tonight. A little improvement of shooting in the first half. They shot 9 of 33 in the first half. They moved to 23 of 58 in the second half from the field. So a little improvement there, but Jackie Johnson, he's always going to score. He's always going to score for Fordham, but there's no help. Castro had 16 points, and he has help there. So they attacked the board, and they got up early.
Yeah, we talk about on the offense. Someone else besides Jackie Johnson and Jaffe Medor it needs to step up every single night. And even tonight, Jackie Johnson, 19, Jaffe Medor with 7. Abdus Timbila was the only other double-digit scorer with 10. The offense, even in this one, he talked a lot about defense. The offense wasn't great in this one. This is the second lowest amount of points that they've scored this season. And from the lowest was the second game of the season in a win versus Seton Hall. But 58 points is not going to do it. And talking about when the walk-ons come in, you usually want it to be the other way around when you're blowing a team out by 23, not when you've given up 81 points to GW. But overall, I think you just have to look at the effort in this game. And last home game at Rose Hill, the effort needed to be better. I know this game mattered a lot more for GW. Fordham 6 in a row, now 7 losses in a row. But we were talking about that everyone gets into the tournament. You never know if you can make a run, win a couple games, get hot in that tournament. You at least want to win a couple before then to get some momentum. But tonight we didn't see that. We didn't see the effort that we needed to see.
Exactly. And this is the time of the season. We're in March, and we're getting to conference play. We need good basketball and good energy. I don't think you can have one without the other there. And letting up 21 second chance points with 20 boards in the second half, Fordham was not dealing well with the glass tonight. And also under the glass with 38 points in the paint, they were relentless. GW made life difficult for Fordham, but Fordham also did it to themselves here. So, as you said, the walk-ons, it was great, but would like to see a win with the walk-ons coming onto the court there. Fordham never had a lead this game, and at halftime, Owen and I talked about the full court press coming in the second half. They broke that pretty quick.
Yeah.
GW diced that up pretty quick, so it worked for a couple minutes, but after 3 or 4 minutes in the second half, that full court press just was not working.
And the second half was relatively closer if you look at it as a comparison of two halves, which is a lot of what we've been talking about this season for Fordham basketball, and Ergo talked about it before the game. It's a tale of two halves. George Washington outscored Fordham 39-35 in that second half, but the big difference is that first half being outscored 42-23. You can't win. You're not going to win a lot of games when you're getting outscored by 20 in each one of the halves. The defensive effort needs to be there throughout the entire game, or the offensive effort. And you talked about the boards. They got out-rebounded 43-27. That just can't happen if you want to win the game. Fordham's bigs really needed to step up in this one, especially when the team's not shooting well. You got to be able to get those boards, especially the defensive rebounds. And shooting from three, 6 of 27, 22%. You're not going to win many games doing that and shooting that poorly. Fordham will play their final game of the season before the A-10 tournament against Rhode Island on Saturday. Obviously, 7 in a row, not playing their best basketball by any stretch right now. What do you want to see in that game on Saturday? Is it about winning the game? Is it about just effort in general, playing a close game going into that tournament? What are your expectations, and what do you want to see from them that you'll have confidence going to the tournament?
Yeah, URI is not a bad team. Rhode Island's really, really good offensively, and you talked about how they weren't really good at scoring tonight. The Rams were. Their shot selection was just not good. Not only was the ball just not going in, the shot selection was not there. Shooting 27 times beyond the arc, only hitting 6. GW had 25 free throws. Almost having the same amount of free throws as three-point attempts is just not what you need. So they need to go take that bus to Rhode Island with smiles on their faces. They need to know that the A-10 tournament is coming, and good energy and good basketball is needed now.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have to have some sort of positive outlook going to the final game of the season. For a lot of these guys, potentially the last regular season college basketball game they'll ever play before the A-10 tournament, then you never know how far you'll make it. But you like to see a lot more effort. You brought up the free throws, 25-5 for the free throw difference between George Washington and Fordham. And when you look at the three-point difference, if you're shooting that poorly from 27 threes is way too many. You got to get to look to the line at some point in this game. And it felt like going down big, a lot of these guys were just chucking threes, which is not really what you want in a game where you're trailing.
Exactly. You got to get to the charity stripe. They did well in the first half last game against St. Joe's, getting those easy points, getting to the line, drive, go to the paint, get fouled. They just didn't have the energy. The mindset wasn't there. They got to figure some stuff out before heading into the A-10 conference tournament next week.
Yeah, so the A-10 tournament will start next week. Fordham's last game will be against Rhode Island Saturday at 2 p.m., but that is going to do it for us. Fordham loses this one 81-58. Before we go, I want to send a huge thanks to our producer, Mary Hannah Gallagher, our engineer, Derek Bollier, and our supervising producer, Kurt Sipple. Bobby Chaffardini is the sports director of WFUV. And shout out all our guys on the call, all seniors. Their season's coming to an end. Hopefully they make a run in the A-10 tournament, but those guys are running out of games. Shout out to Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman, and Chaz McAdams. For Nathan Rogers, I'm Owen Kelty, and Fordham Men's Basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.